All right, Marvel Heroes podcast number 2, the CDR tournament, TTK-Pop, and our tier list. We got Subpoena and Forumz back again. I'm Thousands, and then today we've got our guest host Yepso, famous, infamous, the legend, the man, the myth, the legend himself.
What up, stream?
What up, guys? How you guys all doing?
Yo,
I'm
how's it
doing
going?
good.
Jumping in. Good. Oh, glass is looking good. I like the eyes.
All right. So what we got going
Getting-
on? We're gonna just
Getting
briefly.
mesmerized by those eyes.
Hey, girl. So there was no patch this week. How did everyone's week go? We had the CDR tournament, insane farm. I think everyone in here that participated did pretty well in the tournament.
Yeah, I think we did all right. I mean, I only went for top 10%, so I think I ended like
And, like,
70th.
You did it in 3 tries or something? Like, oh, I'm top 10.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're fun and I like them, but I want them to, it seems like these are in the infant stages, so to speak, and
Yeah.
they want to really expand on them. I'm more excited for a group one. I think
Oh,
a 5-man
God.
challenge would just get my rocks off.
I would be completely 100% invested and ecstatic about the game again if that happened and it was polished. I guess we could just real quick go around how we did. I peaked at like top 50%. No, I did really bad. Did a little bit better and better. I peaked at 8th place. Finished top like 1% and like 20th. Really happy with that. This is my first Danger Room tournament, so it's super exciting to me. Even though I guess these are recycled, the exact same thing, and I did it all in Thor. I had a blast. How about you, Seb? How'd you do?
Finished in 9th, so I was at first for a little while, but I had to work a lot during the week, so I didn't really get to try for any more other than the one weekend I did it. So I would have liked to farm more, but I got a 144 and it was 9th place. So I was pretty happy with it overall and had a good time. Played really strong.
Still top 1%. Oh yeah, I did a 155. And how'd you do?
Was that with Doctor Strange?
That was with Blade.
Blade. All right, nice.
And Yepso, how'd you do?
Did fairly well. I got 5th place on Ghost Rider, so I was pretty happy with that. Cause no one really.
And what'd you peak at?
My time was 137.
Nice.
I also got a video up for those interested.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. You got a good recording on that run. Show how you did it.
Yeah, I didn't record any of mine, but I streamed at least 10 hours of it throughout the week. Got a lot of interesting comments, like, what the hell are you doing? And then some cool stuff, too, like, oh, hey, man, that was a good run. So, overall, how did we feel about the tournament? Like, pretty concisely. For me, it was my first one. I took a break from the game, so I didn't experience any of the other ones. I thought it was awesome. Real competition. An instance you can farm so fast. I made 20,000 Danger Merit, so feeling like a boss. Just bought 3 more stacks or something of like Atlantis relics. For me, it was a home run, but now I'm finding out it's recycled. So this is everyone's second time doing the exact same thing. That sounds like a bit of a bummer, but I think if they could just keep doing different scenarios and changing it up, man, this is a really good thing for the game, I think. How about you guys?
Absolutely. I love the tournament. I think they're really, really fun. I'm glad they're doing them. I hope we get more of them, more scenarios, more tweaks. Like the current tournament, I think you're talking about the Brood tournament, was last week's. This week's the Subway. It's the one that we've had before. Fun. It's a fun tournament. I like the layout. I just hope they never do the movement power restriction again because it kills like 10, 12 characters from being able to compete.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't, I know that some characters are going to be better at certain other ones, like next week's with the Cable Danger Room coming up. It's going to be hard to Brutal Strike, so a lot of characters that rely on Brutal Strikes are not going to do as well. The people that have automatic Brutal Strikes are probably going to do really well. So that's fun. But
so
otherwise,
if the Danger Room says you cannot Brutal Strike, but is that how it works, or all of your crits become Brutals for the Cable one?
I think it was all the crits become Brutal. I think it's that Apex.
Okay. So
it's
Daredevil
not a new
is
Apex.
going to win the tournament.
Probably.
I mean, that's cool to me, though. At least it's going to be different characters. We're not going to get, we might see Rogue in there. I mean, maybe I guess we'll see Blade again. But I don't know. I think Daredevil might have a pretty heavy advantage over the rest of the cast.
Yeah, people like that. Or people guarantee crits. If all crits are becoming brutes, that's going to be strong as well.
Well, yeah, Thing might do pretty well then, because he has an ability where one hit's normal, one hit auto crits, one hit auto brutes. I mean, Thor's got an auto crit, so I mean, we can see. I mean, I think she's just too low of a power level, but I'm pretty sure Widow has some auto crit stuff as well.
Some people I even saw were saying we better start giving She-Hulk, so because she has the crit buff that basically offsets the reduction in crits, so you're just going to be like brute chaining like all of your attacks on She-Hulk basically. So that should be interesting. She-Hulk might even be better than Daredevil. We'll have to see, but it'll be cool to see two different characters potentially at the top of the tournament.
Yeah,
Definitely sounds interesting. I wish that they would have kept it a group scenario though, because
yeah, absolutely.
way more appealing to me right now.
Wait, the cable fight was a group scenario initially, and that's what I just said I wanted. So
They
they're
announced
trying.
it as that. Yeah.
So there's still potential for group ones. They just weren't quite ready to get it done.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know what happened exactly because
I mean, how are they going to track that though? The leader scores recorded, or it just automatically records all the people at that time? I mean, that'll be really interesting.
Yeah, that is. I think that's probably the issue they're actually having.
I would say that's probably exactly
because
it.
they've said that they cannot do a character specific tournament. Then they apparently don't have the technology to do just having a little, like an icon, so I could see, oh, number one, who's in first place, Frosty in the tournament. Oh, he used Rogue for this time, So I could see that being, the system they have in place right now with one character one time. I could see it being probably significantly more complicated to track that much more information.
Yeah, that would be. I hope they get to that point, because that'd be great for the community and for just everyone involved to be able to see who's placing with what characters. At least at a minimum, that would be what I hope we're going to get in the future.
Yeah. Also, anyone in the Twitch chat right now while we're recording, I'm going to be checking that periodically. If there's any, solid questions, we may be taking those. So, feel free to interact with us, fam. All right, so, I think that's a pretty good job of covering the tournament. The main thing we want to do with this broadcast is do a tier list. That's what everyone's been really excited about all week. And I want to say thank you, too. A lot of people had a lot of nice things to say about the podcast, so we're taking our baby steps right now, just figuring out as we go. This one's on the tier list and, current events, and then the next one we're pretty solid on talking about PvP and what we can do as a community to, make it come alive, stay alive. The last thing... Go ahead, Forumz.
I guess before we get into the tier list, we should probably talk about cakes.
Yes, that was my exactly what I was gonna say.
How
how awesome the farm is right now. Game. Yeah, so why don't you explain about the drop right now for slices and why the year 3 anniversary cake is so epic?
Well, just a few things to start off. If you're a new player, you should be taking every opportunity you have to farm cake. Because cakes are giving level 80 legendaries, and typically before you could purchase a level 80 legendary, you had to farm 1,000 Odin marks, and you had to farm, I think it's 6 weeks of reputation doing Axis before you can actually purchase them. So this is a really, really good way for new players to get a head start and get geared so they can participate in, some of the in-game content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any of you guys sub or anyone want to say anything on that?
No, I think that is pretty spot on. Like that's huge for new players.
Yeah, and just to continue on it, we haven't really seen any kind of loot, that's this excessive up to this point. It's probably a really good thing. It's excellent for new players.
And the cool point. Sorry, dude.
I'll go.
Well, the epic thing, I think, is that it's very cool for new players, but it's still insane for all of us who have, 3,000 plus hours. It's just like, that's 800 Odin marks an hour?
Well, not only that, but for us, it's like we have, 20 people geared, and now it's like we can gear the whole roster.
Yeah.
We just have legendaries coming out our ears.
Yeah, I farmed at least half of the week in Danger Room, but even doing that, not going too ham on cakes, I think I farmed 25 level 80 legendaries. So I'm super stoked with that. Or I have a friend, Bebop, the newest member of Apex. He got Ghost Rider, and we're gearing him out. I'm like, shit, you need a legendary. Like, that's going to take a while to farm. So we farm a cake, and he got lucky, and he got the level 80 mental legendary, which, it's not best in slot, but it's definitely better than any of the level 70 legendaries.
Yeah, it's definitely very close. So.
Yeah, so I was just like,
Good on him.
yeah, he lucked the fuck out. So I was like, awesome. So, I mean, that's pretty epic. And then also another thing, Yepso and I, we're we're in that party of people who don't, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of you who don't have Coulson, and I know at the start of this event I was at like 400 or 500 of that Omega, the Omega files, and now I think I'm at just under 1,000, so I basically got to skip almost a whole Omega event. So that's pretty close, being a little bit closer to the Coulson team up.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So anything else where we want to give them props? I feel like this week there wasn't really much. I mean, Apex has nothing to gripe about. Like what? Like we're not really too much to gripe about right now.
Yeah, I mean,
pretty nice week.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think of, I can always think of something to gripe about just to help you guys.
Oh, and I thought of one about the tournament actually, the bug.
It would. So, well, yeah, I was going to do tournament bugs. The only gripe I would have is after this, insanity ends with the loot. Anytime I play from now on, I'm just gonna have withdrawals.
Like, massive withdrawals.
Like, yeah, what is going on? The experience is awful. I'm not getting any loot. Like, why should I even play? Because I'm gonna play now and stock up because
I feel like that's a design flaw. Actually,
ridiculous.
I feel like that's actually a ginormous design flaw that I hope they fix, where it basically rotates from there being like addict level farm of just like, this is so good it would be unrealistic for me not to farm this, right? Like we're getting more bang for our buck than anywhere else. And
well, it almost feels like you're cheating the game right now.
And we're absolutely cheating the game. I mean, there's a guy in my channel, he just did today would be his 40th day logging in. Yesterday he told me it was his 39th day. He's at 8,500 Omegas, boys. Like, we all did the struggle of the first 7,500 before there was 10,000. And I'm just like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm not working right now. But I'm just like, you're a savage, yeah. So, I mean, it is insane.
Yeah, it really is.
But, I mean, it actually feels really good that, which is like, man, cool tournament. Other than, there is one bug, which we don't know if I don't know if any of the guys who got top, 5, were they actually even Blades? Or was it Rogues? Like,
no, there were some Blades.
Okay, so we don't know if they exploited or not, because those times at the end there kind of came out of nowhere, but there is one bug in the tournament, which is a bummer. Signatures and ultimates are disabled for this Danger Room tournament scenario, but Blade has a...
No, just ultimates.
Sorry, just ultimates, that's right, just ultimates. And Blade has a bug where if he has no reses on his gear, his artifacts, uniques, he has a res where he'll be resed when he dies from an ability, and if that res happens while he's down, he can use his ultimate. So if he could orchestrate that to die on the boss or 2 of the elites or whatever, he can actually just knock a huge portion of his time off. We don't know if anyone exploited, but it just sucks that is an option, that someone could win because of that. But really good tournament. I mean, if you were really high up there and kind of, I know I was daily looking at all the times in the top 20, you could see that people like push their times like slowly. The times got better and better, lower and lower, and then even certain people appeared out of nowhere, like they didn't even play. And it was cool to see that there was a really fun, healthy competition, and that's all I've wanted from this game.
Yeah.
So
before we go into tier lists, I don't think we mentioned that if anyone finds us, they get.
That's right. So the Forumz invented we were all talking about the podcast and what we can do. Forumz came up with a really cool idea. So there's 2 games going on right now. If any of us AFK for too long, you get kicked from Marvel Heroes. So if any one of us in the podcast AFKs and gets kicked, they're the scrub. They're going to donate a visual, one of the prizes from the Danger Room tournament, to give away to the stream. So hopefully one of us scrubs AFKs too long, gets kicked, and we'll donate a visual for someone in the stream.
And Apex members can't win.
Yeah, Apex members obviously can't win, because you all have your visuals anyways. And the other thing is Forumz came up with a game that, last podcast, it was really funny. We had Creeper Doom in the background, which was really funny, if you guys saw that. So that inspired us to have the idea. If you can find us where we're broadcasting right now live, it's probably going to be an hour plus 2-hour podcast. First person to find us. What are you giving away, Yepso? Is it to the first 2 people or to the first person?
Yeah, we can do first 2 people. I've got flags that I'll give away.
The first 2 people to find us and walk on camera will get a flag via Yepso. And also, shout outs to Yepso. He gave me all his winnings from the Danger Room tournament, all the hollow body visuals and all that to give away. So I raffled off 2 last night, and we'll probably do 1 more for sure tonight. So
Awesome.
cool, guys. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes that I know everyone has been really excited for. I mean, and whatever. It's it's a lot to me. About 20 different people have asked me, when's the tier list podcast? When's the next podcast? This is it. We're gonna go over the tier list. Forumz came up with a format we all pretty much agreed with. We're gonna have S tier as the highest, A, B, C, and D. And I thought the most exciting way for us to go about that is to start at the bottom and go to the top. Does that work with you guys? Does that sound good?
Yeah, everyone do it.
And,
Yeah, sure.
And then
I'm not sure if you guys did this, but I didn't put my heroes in any specific order within the tier. I just put them.
yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I
So
mean.
as
me
we're
either.
just
There's too many to do
as we're
that.
reading these off, these aren't in any specific order. They're simply put into a bracket that we deemed fitting for that character.
Yeah,
Well-
mine are in just alphabetical order
Yeah, it's generally going to
Mine are
within
be
the tiers.
it's generally going to be a group. We're going to talk about, like, let's say we're going to start off with the worst, and we're just going to briefly just talk about that group of people. And what I'm curious to see is we're all very experienced players. We actually have a lot of us have very different tastes in characters. Some overlaps, but just to see who the outliers are. So let's get started with it. I think it's better at the bottom because it's also there's less people, and I think in the absolute worst tier. But let's start with D tier. I only have 4 in mine. How many do you guys have, like, in yours?
I just have 2 actually.
Okay.
I have 11.
Yeah. So for me, I think that's interesting. So let's just do this real quick. How many do you guys have in your C tier? I have 9.
13.
Interesting. Sounds like this
I
is the one Forumz has a lot.
I have 12 in C.
All right, and then in B, this is my biggest one. I've got 18.
13.
Okay.
I have 15.
Okay, and then in A, I have 11.
Up to A here.
I have 21. The majority of my characters, I feel like are in A tier.
Nice. Okay, it's interesting. It's interesting to see
I
our
have-
philosophies.
I have 13 in A tier.
I have 12. And then in your S tier, how many do you have?
I have
6.
3.
I have 11 with 1 honorable mention, which I think is significantly ahead of the rest. But we'll get to that. So that's very interesting. Some of ours were really close, 11, 12, 13. Some of ours were 2,
What was
4.
your S? Sorry, Thousand.
My S is, I think, 11 with 1 honorable mention that I think is significantly.
Your S tier is 11, dude.
Yep.
That's 3.
So this
Damn,
is a
I'm-
philosophy thing, yeah.
This is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is really
All right, so
interesting.
let's start at the bottom. So we'll just ask Yepso. So Yepso's just gonna shoot from the hip. This is how he lives life. Who are the shitters to you, Yepso, in the game? Like D tier, absolutely just they don't even exist to you. Who doesn't exist to you in this game?
Hey, I got to interrupt real quick.
Okay.
Wait, before you X23 it, this is something we weren't supposed to talk about our list, but it came up. This one thing I gotta mention because I have a tier below D tier. It's the I don't care tier, and I have 1 character in there,
Okay.
and I have a note, and it's Squirrel Girl. And my
Okay.
note is it's not even a real character to me. I don't care about Squirrel Girl. I wish she wasn't in the game. It's a joke character, and I don't care if she can't do DPS. I'm sorry for anyone who's a fan.
All right.
I'm not.
I actually on my stream we refer to her lovingly as the base squirrel god. Because at around 3 a.m., someone suggested I gear her out, and she's ridiculous, and I actually kind of enjoy that because I think her voice acting is bizarre but really good and hilarious.
Well, it's Tara Strong. I mean, Tara Strong is a renowned
Yeah.
voice actress. Like, she's gonna give an amazing performance. I just
Well, there was a community done like Emmy Awards for Marvel Heroes. I don't know if you guys remember, like 2 years ago, and the guy did a poll that anyone can fill out, and he compiled the data. So it was like best voice acting, worst voice acting. So I think Deadpool won best voice acting, but there was like second place, third place, 4th place, and then worst voice acting, I don't know, maybe Gambit or whoever, and then there's a second worst, third worst. Squirrel Girl got 2nd place for best voice acting, but she also got the 2nd most votes for worst voice acting. So that was really funny. He was like, "This is the only stat where this happened." So who's dead to you?
Who's dead?
See, there's quite a few characters dead to me in this game.
Okay.
But I'd say the two that are really just terrible are definitely X-23 and Wolf.
Interesting. Okay. So I think that's really interesting because Wolverine's doing a 3:55, which is getting to very, that's definitely a decent time, but I hear he's squishy as shit. But we don't have to dissect everything. Forumz, who are your D tiers? Oh, actually, Forumz and Sub, who are your guys' D tiers?
Go ahead, Sub.
Oh, I only have 2 in there, and that's Star-Lord and Juggernaut.
Oh, really? All right, and then we'll discuss all of them once we say what they are. We'll look at the overall. And what are yours, Forumz?
All right, so in my D tier,
with no explanations, just the list.
D tier down as please help.
Okay.
And these heroes are Colossus, Cyclops,
wow,
Juggernaut, Luke Cage, Loki, Magneto, Psylocke, Squirrel Girl, Star-Lord, and Storm.
Wow. Okay.
These are heroes that, while they might have okay TTKs, I feel like their designs are so fundamentally flawed that the heroes just they need fix. Like they're not what they should be. They're not who they should be or where they should be. They all need to be looked at extensively by Gazillion.
All right, so I like that each of our philosophies are coming through. Mine was almost strictly the ability just to perform in the game with the metrics we've come up with. TTKs, TTL, can you red raid, can you CDR. And my D tier has 4 people in it. Star-Lord, I think, gets a significant mention for you have shitty offense and you have shitty defense. All of your mechanics are clunky. You don't feel epic. I mean, Star-Lord's... the actor, Chris Pratt, crushed Star-Lord. He said, I want to make Star-Lord bigger than Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, or at least as big. And he, killed it. I remember coming home, I'm going to play this game. I have the record. I have the cassette tape of the Awesome Mix. I literally have a physical Awesome Mix. Popped that shit in and played the game. And I was playing Star-Lord, flying on my rocket boots. I was just like, this guy sucks. His little knife stab didn't work all the time. Anyways, so Star-Lord, I think, is my significant mention of just, you suck. And then honorable you suck mention would be War Machine. And I know he's broken Subpoena's and Forum's hearts.
Crushed him.
And then the other, so my D tier, just to shoot it out, is Star-Lord, War Machine, Venom, and Squirrel Girl. And I actually love Venom, and I've been playing him a lot recently, and he gets, I guess, I used to think he was mega tanky, but he's really not that tanky. He attacks way too slow, and he doesn't hit that hard, and he doesn't really have much build diversity. And then
On a side note, I've got Venom in my C tier, and the very first line says I almost put him in D tier.
And I actually love Venom, and I recently just geared him out and stuff. Squirrel Girl's in here just because her kit's absolutely boring. As ridiculous as she is, as funny as I think she is, her kit's just boring. I think anyone in this chat channel could have designed a more interesting kit given a week. Anyone. I think literally someone who doesn't play video games might have been able to design a better kit in a week. It's just really boring, really dry. There's literally no spell in her kit that I'm just kind of I like casting other than her ultimate, which is just ridiculous. But let's talk about these characters we named. So just, I think we all...
One thing to know, besides Yepso, all 3 of us had Star-Lord.
Yes, so Star-Lord was...
Star-Lord, yeah, in my notes for Star-Lord, I have Star-Lord, very poor damage, very poor spirit management, horrible time to live. He's just all around a poor character.
I think he might be the worst character.
The most help of anyone. Yeah, he could possibly need the most help of anyone in the entire roster.
And yours was Squirrel Girl, just because you really just don't like her as a character, period, in the game, right, Subpoena?
Mine... Oh, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, well, yeah, I just... Not just in the game, but as a character as a whole, yeah. Well, there's several reasons. Her abilities kind of suck. I don't really think they're very fun. The scrolls are kind of cool. They're jumping in and doing all that stuff, whatever. That's all right, but she's a joke character, and I just don't feel like she's really part of the Marvel universe.
And she's not even truly a summoner anymore.
So I don't like her, but also regardless of that, she's just not a very strong character.
Mm-hmm.
And without bugs, she never has been. So I put her in I don't care tier. But if I was going to put her in a tier, it would probably be D or C.
She's definitely in. Yeah, she's not a strong character.
She could use some help.
So the anomaly or the disagreements we have are I placed War Machine in this tier, and Venom, and I don't think anyone else did. Is that correct? And then
Correct.
both you and Forumz placed Jug in here. So I think I'd like to comment on Jug just briefly since I have him in a different tier. And then I think you guys might have feedback on War Machine. I don't know.
Yeah.
So Juggernaut to me is, I actually think he could be on the cusp of the strongest tier, period. He has all these, I'll just be brief. He has the illusion of tankiness with invulnerability, but when his slot 2 proc, which he's invulnerable when he goes below 30%, and then he has his invuln when he dies, he just goes invuln instead, and you have your invuln on medkit. You feel tanky as shit, but once all those are on cooldown, he's a wet napkin. If he just had some real defense, maybe some actually damage mitigation, and then he had damaged layers in between him doing his elbow drops. I mean, I'm one of top Thors in the game. My signature brutes for 12 to 15 million every 20 seconds. With my Juggernaut, I brutal for that much every 2 seconds, every 3 seconds maybe, and so he's got that crazy burst. He doesn't have the filler in between his burst. So I think he could be so great. I mean, anyone with that much burst, I feel like it's so strong.
Could be.
My notes for Jug, I have him in D tier, but I said all he needs is a few good tweaks, and he could be top tier.
Literally,
that's literally what I have in there.
With 2 tweaks,
so bad,
he could be top tier.
That's all he needs.
I played him a lot, and what I wrote was, yeah, if you guys can't find us, we'll just raffle the flags if this is actually a private instance. But we chose a public zone on purpose. It's just a very tricky spot in a public zone. But someone said you can't find us if that's the case. Yepso just said we'll raffle off the flags. With Juggernaut, you literally could do... His whole rotation could be fine if you just made Lariat, for example, just hit as hard as a spender, and then he had real defense. He would actually be amazing.
My idea, dude. Just completely rework Lariat into a legitimate, rotational power, and just rename it to Spiked Elbow Drop and put a dot layer on it.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
I mean, there's
it good damage.
Yeah, there's lots of ways.
Give him the good damage he needs from Lariat, and just put a dot on Lariat.
Well, because basically, in a nutshell, his dot, his headbutt bleed, his enter the fray bleed, and Lariat just don't do enough damage. He's got his rotation, he's got his stuff. It's fun. You're flying around, stomping on shit, headbutting shit. Just a little more damage.
They could even double the damage of both of his dots.
Yeah. And then
I'd be happy with him moving it anywhere around, but he definitely needs more damage. That's why I put him in D tier. He just doesn't do enough damage, and he's a powerhouse in the Marvel Universe, one of the strongest.
Yep, one of the only people who can fight Hulk one-on-one.
Yeah, he's super strong, and he doesn't show it in this game. I think he should. I think he's a really popular character as well. And that's the thing we've kind of talked about in our other podcasts as well. But these popular characters, and we'll see it as we go through the tier list, I think a lot of the popular characters are going to be low in tier, and I think they should be high in tier.
Yeah, there's one I wanted to touch on because of that. It's specifically Iron Man. I have him in D tier, and my philosophy is the most iconic characters in the Marvel Universe need to be the best characters in this game, hands down. It doesn't matter. And Iron Man needs to be a top 5 character. He's one of the biggest names. He's a 600 ES hero. And he's just not good. I mean, he's just not where he needs to be. He's not exactly fun to play. His design's a little lacking. He's got outdated animation. He needs updated and brought to the toppest of tiers because he's Iron Man.
Yeah, I mean, he's in all the Avengers movies. He has 3 of his own movies. Isn't he referenced? I think they reference his father in some of the Captain America movies.
Spider-Man.
He's going to be in the Spider-Man movie. I mean, he is a huge core to the universe.
Yeah,
I mean, no one else right now has 3 movies other than Cap, but he's half of the 3rd Captain America movie.
Hey, don't forget about Thor. He's got a.
Yeah.
Well, Thor's doing
Thor
pretty
is good though.
Thor's just not indestructible, but Thor's damage is godlike.
And not only that, but if you consider it having Empower like that, in my opinion, Empower, like, it pushes you up a tier if you have it.
All right, so this is the smallest tier, and we're already talking quite a bunch, which I love. I love that all of us love this game. So real quick, Subpoena, what was your D tier, and Forumz, say yours again?
So mine was Star-Lord and Juggernaut.
Okay, and Forumz was a bit longer.
Yeah, mine is Colossus, and I'll just go over a few notes, and then we can go on to the next tier. For Colossus, I just put slow, clunky, boring, uninspired animations, relatively dated design. Right tree is a joke.
Oh, I absolutely agree. The reason
Cyclops, go ahead.
The only reason why I didn't put Colossus in such a low tier was his time to live in all content is pretty exceptional, and his damage isn't trash. So I mean, Colossus can do all the content pretty comfortably.
That is true.
But I agree with what you're talking
Yeah.
about. I didn't go at that angle of design. Everything you're saying about design, absolutely. Like that right tree.
Yeah.
How does he have fastball special, and why do we all not care to cast it? Fastball special's in the game, but it's not in the game because it sucks so bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we've got Cyclops. I got requires weaving, pops like a balloon.
So actually, I found last time I played Cyclops, I've always liked him. I feel like he's he's at like 30k HP, a ton of dodge. He's always out of harm's way. I'm actually and he's got. I mean, he hits. I love weaving because it's like more to do. Oh, interesting. Okay, go on.
Juggernaut obviously needs a few tweaks. Could be amazing. Luke Cage. I've got.
Yeah, that's the one that made me said, "Holy shit!"
Boring, and more boring is my line.
I love Luke Cage, and I can't argue his his hero
not
for
that
hire.
He's a bad character. Like his DPS is okay. It's not the best. He's in the middle of the pack.
No, he's really close to 3. He's at 3 teams.
Top tier.
Well,
DPS.
The thing is, though,
Yeah.
but here's the thing: that's only on the dummy. He can't stand in any combat. He has to melee. He has all sorts of pathing issues, getting to his target.
Yeah.
His drop kick misses. His elbow drop, they can move out of the way. Sometimes his combo points bug. He is the fucking heroes for hire dude, and his heroes for hire tree sucks. They gave him massive buff to his summon, and it's just 25% damage, 25% damage mitigation. Literally, him summoning all those like 4 people just gets in his way, so he can't hit what he wants to hit. Like if that button just said 25% damage for 6 seconds, 25% damage mitigation for 6 seconds, summon nothing, it would be a buff. So I agree with you. He was the only hero I have ever in the history of this game gone on Test Center, leveled to 60 because I was so hyped for, and it's just completely not uninspired because he was the first combo point hero, and he's always been able to blow stuff up. That's the thing he's always had, is he hits like a truck. But yeah, he's not true to his one thing he's got, is he throws cars, so he's strong, and he's the guy with indestructible skin. And he's always just been a little bitch. He's just not tanky ever.
They seem to have a hard time getting the whole indestructible skin, regeneration thing.
Yeah, well,
people. That's a hard thing for them to
Yeah,
do.
because it's always been the dodge characters or someone with a mechanic like that ends up being unkillable or something. Emma's the only one who's been, fucking indestructible. But so those were all your big outliers. I think that's very interesting, and I think I could see how you put Cage so low, even though he's got such a high, like his offense is so strong.
I mean, it basically boils down to, even if he's got a 3-minute TTK, I would never, ever, ever, ever recommend someone purchase him.
I mean, I don't know how many
unless
people...
you're like the most diehard Power Man fan that's ever walked this earth, and then that's fine because everyone has their favorite. And I'm a Gambit fan. I play him melee. He sucks melee, but I'll do it forever. And then we've got Loki. I've got one build. Doesn't properly capture the essence of the character. Generally boring as shit.
Loki?
I would agree with that.
Absolutely. Loki is one of my all-time favorite characters. And every time I... What was that, bro?
Said they made him a summoner, and he should be like powerful.
A sorcerer.
Yeah, like a trickster. I don't know. He should just be using illusions and have powerful spells, and he should be like the ultimate person that uses confuse. Like his confuse should be more powerful than anyone else's. Like he should be different. He's not right. And you know, you might
Like
not
a
necessarily be able to
dominator
blame
mage.
him. Because he was like a surprise character. So for all we know, they had 2 weeks to make Loki and put him out. You know, and he hasn't really had.
He's never
very
gotten a real
many
quality of
changes.
life.
Yeah, exact.
He's kind of like
his
Cage.
rework.
Like Cage has never really gotten a rework. He got his level 52, and they made, made Heroes for Hire signature. That wasn't new. And his ults always sucked. His signatures always sucked.
All right, I'll power through these last couple, and because we're dragging in D.
That's fine. Dragging the D.
If you guys aren't in a hurry, I can go all night.
This is what the people want, and I'm having a blast. So
totally, me too.
what were your last two? Just say them real quick before you go into them.
Well, there's a couple more, but it's Magneto. I just put stancing should not exist. It's an issue, and the fact that you have to do it to maximize him is a big problem. Also, all of his visually cool abilities suck ass. They need to fix that. Then we've got Psylocke, and my notes for Psylocke just say electrify her. And Storm, while not a bad character, her design is beyond dated at this point, and she just needs cooldown layers. She needs more appealing powers. I mean, for her, you literally throw down 3 dot layers and hold down 1 button, and that's literally Storm's gameplay.
Yep.
With no other managing. So yeah, those are my last few in D.
Psylocke,
she just needs to make her Elektra. Just make Psylocke Elektra. She's amazing. I'll love her forever. You know, she's one of my favorite characters of all time. It saddens me to see her in D tier, but that's where she belongs.
Well, I was curious if what you guys thought about my two. I had Venom and War Machine in the lowest tier.
For me, I've got Venom and War Machine in C, so I've just got them right above you.
Yeah, same for me. I don't have them much lower than you do. The only reason I would say with War Machine and Venom is because they are tanky, and with Jug was kind of the exception. I feel like for me, if they were tanky and had good DPS, or they had pretty good DPS but they're not tanky, I put them in C generally. Jug was kind of exception. Although he is pretty tanky, it's just his DPS is so bad. Like his sustained damage is just bad. And so any content where you want high sustained damage, it's not good.
Yes, his sustain is bad, but his burst I feel is some of the best in the game. When he's like 15 million elbow drop, signature like crushing shit twice a second, 15 million elbow drop, like that annihilates almost any boss, especially with his steroid up every 30 seconds.
That's one thing is like most of the content in this game is under a minute, and with the exception of raids. So I know we're getting into higher kill times on dummies, but heroes like Juggernaut are still powerhouses in cosmic content
because his signature is like an ultimate, and it's up
because
every
his
40
first
seconds.
his first 1 minute of damage is incredible, and then it just gets bad.
Yeah, but then there's nothing. Like you take him into like the Danger Room contest right now, like the last one with the Brood. And you see where he struggles massively.
Well, he couldn't even play it because he can't use his whole rotation's movement. So even his dot is movement. So.
Well, the current one, yeah, but I mean the Brood didn't restrict movement. But even on the Brood, it was like he was awful.
Yeah, totally.
Ram just showed up in chat, and he said, "I'm just here to see who talks shit about Punisher to unfriend him." What's up, Ram? Love that guy.
All right.
So then, just
moving on, right?
One last thing. We talked about Forumz. His interesting. I feel like he has some really strong characters in the lowest tier. What did you guys think about me putting Venom and War Machine so low? You guys just said you had him in C.
Yeah, I think I was trying War Machine for a while. You gave me a costume. It was really nice of you. I really want War Machine to be a good, strong character. I think he's got a pretty cool kit. He really just needs a couple of small tweaks. His damage is just piss poor. He couldn't pee through cardboard. It's so bad.
Wow, you heard it here, folks. That's amazing.
He's pretty fun. If you put on, purple hearted, he's pretty fun to farm with. He's got a pretty cool he's actually had a really cool signature. But man, buff his damage. Give him the 25% damage buff like Hulk got recently, and we can probably move him up a tier.
Yeah, and
I
once again,
haven't seen the spoiler alert. So
once again, props to the devs for doing those Band-Aid patches or whatever, buffs. There was that mock comment that got a lot of whiplash from the community, like, oh, who said it? That dev, remember? They said, like,
Psylocke.
what was the comment?
Psylocke. Like, oh look, well, it was the complaint is they nerfed Loki, right? They nerfed Loki, and they were like, we're gonna give him some buffs later, and it was like, you don't ever give buffs, after you give nerfs, it takes like months, so he's gonna be terrible for months, and no one's gonna want to play him. Some people are his mains, and that's a big deal for them. And then, like the next patch, they were like having buffs. He's like, oh look, it's not been months, and we are giving out buffs, and it was in poor taste. I think everyone's realized that at this point. So I don't really have to rehash it, but that's what happened.
All right.
People were pretty upset about it because of the history of Gazillion and not buffing characters for
So it's been 2 weeks now. We would love to see that happen on a weekly basis, at least bi-weekly. Like, okay, this is what's going on. They should have some idea of what shit tier is, and maybe those characters get revisited. Real quick, people are filling up in the stream. A couple people are asking who's who. Just, say hello. So you guys can see me talking. Pokemon Master, thousands. Just say your name so they know who's talking, please, if you don't mind.
So the red deck, this is I'm Subpoena. So I sound a very southern accent. That's me.
Okay.
Go ahead, Forumz.
I am Forumz, or Atea. The artist formerly known as Forumz.
Rip.
I am Yepso.
All right, so gives you guys kind of an idea what we sound like. In chat, I wrote southern accent. Me, you see me talk. Yepso barely talks. Forumz, the other normal English guy. So that's our D tier. More or less, it's Stallard, War Machine, Venom, Jug, Squirrel Girl, and there's some overlapping. Mag Loki, Luke Cage, X-23. All right, so then.
Yeah, how did you guys not put X-23 in that tier?
I actually played her for about 4 days last week and really geared her out, and she's completely fun. All she needs is her dots to do a little bit more damage, or her basic to do more damage, and she'd be crushing shit. Her regen's crazy. With a shield on, she's not going to die. And then she's really fun. I mean, when she came out, I thought she's amazing. She's flipping around.
I get that, but this is tier list though. Is it going to tier list?
We kind of all did it differently, which is interesting. I did it based on essentially their damage and their survivability. Forumz did it seems like a comprehensive character design, true to flavor, power level. Subpoena. I think you and Subpoena used the metachlorines. I don't know.
I mean, the reason I did it the way I did it is just because we have a completely subjective by the numbers tier list.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at TTKs as far as damage goes, so we have that already. So I kind of expanded on it a little bit. I mean, obviously damage and all that, it plays heavily into my S and my A tier.
Oh well, shit.
Important. But there are a few outliers where it's just like this character just fundamentally is just wrong. And because of that, they're where they're at.
Well, there's
generally going up from here. It's pretty. It follows that formula. Damage. But I have Q and D that were just not good.
Yeah, everything you're saying actually, I feel you. I see absolutely where you're coming from. Luke Cage is super close to my heart, and I'm like, yeah, I can't really argue with you in D tier.
All right, so I was saying what I did with mine was I looked at damage, mainly damage and survivability. That's the two main criteria I looked at, and then also I looked at because I haven't played every single character a lot, so I played them a little bit, some I don't play a lot, but I try to look at videos and things like that. I've seen other people post and how well they do with that character, and then kind of say, okay, if someone can do really well with it, I might adjust my opinion based on that. That's kind of where I did my tier list.
I also had a few characters where I wasn't 100% comfortable placing them on my own, so I did research on the forums.
Nice.
And placed them based on public opinion more than my own.
Yeah, I mean, with
54
characters,
heroes, and I don't play them all.
Exactly. So I think throughout this tier list, there'll be characters we feel strong about, and this is general. So let's bang out our C tier. I'll just do mine first since I went last time. My C tier is Ant-Man, Black Widow, Iron Man, Storm, Iceman, X-23, Wolverine, Taskmaster, Psylocke. I think half of them we already talked about. potentially being D tier, C tier. What you boys? Let's
They're
do
pretty
forums.
different. All right. My C tier consists of Black Widow,
Mhm.
Captain Marvel,
Ooh.
Gambit, Hawkeye, Hulk, Kitty Pryde, Moon Knight, Rocket, Taskmaster, Venom, War Machine, Wolverine, and X-23.
All right.
Sub?
Yeah, mine's pretty similar to y'all's really so far. So Black Widow, C tier. I think we've been really nailing her. Colossus
Really
breaks my
nailing
heart.
Black Widow?
Yes, yeah, we would all like to, I'm sure. Black Widow, Colossus, Cyclops, Hawkeye, Hulk. We got Iceman in here, which I don't think you guys said.
I did. I had
Iron Man.
Iron
Oh,
Man.
yeah, Iceman.
Me
Okay,
too.
Iron Man, Magneto, Storm, Taskmaster, Venom, War Machine, X-23, and Wolverine.
All right, so yeah, we absolutely are all pretty much agreement here. Either we all named
would
them in C
say-
tier or D tier.
Yep. Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. You know, we basically have all of the same heroes in C or D.
If we put C and D
know.
together, we absolutely agree with like one
There are
outlier.
probably a few like a few exceptions, but generally, like I don't think any one of you guys said Rocket Raccoon
No,
or Moon Knight or Kitty Pryde.
no.
No, but I do have those up a tier.
Yes.
From
So,
you.
yeah, I have all those in B.
So it seems like
Let's let Yepso say if he's got any. You got anyone you would put in that tier?
No, I mean, like, Machine and C tier, Taskmaster.
Are you looking at like the hero list on the forums right now?
On Star Lord, definitely. Storm.
All right.
I don't know. I feel like Juggernaut belongs there. Colossus for sure. I still think Cyclops is like B tier.
I have Cyclops up there as well. I know you worked on him. Of these characters,
Yeah.
Yepso, since you've been so quiet, of these characters that we're kind of putting here in C and D tier, like how would you describe them? Like why do you view them?
This
that.
is my viewpoint about. I get people who are passionate.
No, not that. I'm just saying. I'm just asking your opinion. Like what's not good
No,
about them?
well, that's what I'm telling you. I got to give you context.
Okay.
I think
okay.
this game to me is just damage numbers. So it goes like solely objective, shitty damage. I'm like, well, right.
Hey, Forumz, we can't hear him when you spam that ability, by the way.
oh, sorry.
It's all good. Alright, so shitty damage. I mean, that's kind of how you live your life. Some people think...
By the numbers. I mean, I can appreciate that for sure.
Some people think that, the training room is their friend. But Yepso was born in the training room. He was raised in the training room.
You know what? Dev should put they should put my fucking name and graffiti in there somewhere.
Or just rename the dummy, Yepso's punching bag.
Yeah. I mean, that should honestly be an artifact at this point. Well, that's great. I'm glad that C tier was kind of really clean cut because we're like 40 minutes in, boys. I'm having a blast. This is where I think it's going to get really be interesting. Like, for example, Yepso's already said who he has in B tier. Where we're starting to get good. Obviously, we're not at the top. I feel like A tier, maybe S tier. Well, actually, for you guys, what tier for you was where it's like this is the sweet spot? Because for me, my spot was pretty much B is B tiers for me is where it starts from. Like all these characters are fine. I mean, yes, I want almost every character in this game needs to be more polished. But B tier is where I'm like, you're doing pretty much everything acceptably, and then everything above that just gets better and better. What tier was it for you guys where you're happy with the characters?
B.
Okay.
Yeah, I think. Well, for B was characters I'm okay with. I guess probably the majority of my characters were in A. So the characters I really like that I think are great characters are fun to play. That I'd say, yeah, you should buy that character. I put in A tier.
Okay.
B tier, I'd be like, B tier for me was like they're good and you can enjoy them, but if you're not a big fan of the playstyle or that character or that specific character in the comics, you might not like the character.
That's basically my B tier.
For me, S tier is the only tier where I'm like, buy this character.
Yeah, B tier is currently viable, may or may not be fun to play, is how I had it tagged.
Nice. All right,
That's
so
kind of how mine are. Yeah.
so B tier is my biggest tier. Let's see. Should we just go down the list again? That seems to be working all right. You guys, I
think
guess.
these I think C tier at least we can kind of breeze over because they're heroes that are just they're underperforming. We all know that they need to be worked on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was
But
anyone offended by anyone's thing in C tier that we need to just
No.
discuss real quick? Because we didn't really, because we hit a lot in D tier. We didn't really talk much in C tier.
I mean, yeah, it seemed like we all just agreed. Like, yeah, just not. They're maybe not terrible, but they're definitely not spectacular.
Yeah, I think the one outlier I had that no one else had was Captain Marvel.
Yes, I actually disagree with that pretty strongly.
Yeah, I think you're crazy on that one.
So my Captain Marvel, here's what I have wrote out for her. Very dated kit. Secondary resources is extremely clunky to operate optimally.
Yes, I agree.
Her layering is poor because it requires her secondary resource. She does okay in TTK due to hybrid itemization being very over budget, which her kit overall is just not good.
So
she is somewhat tanky and does have some nice time to live. Then I wrote for her signature. It is a core component to her kit. It is required to use no matter what. Feels very underwhelming and clunky when regenerating her secondary resource. Ultimate power makes her unkillable, good damage. And then for costumes, default is probably her best option.
Wait, her ultimate doesn't make her unkillable
quality.
anymore. I'm pretty sure she can die in it.
No, she can die, but it's like she's unkillable in the sense that she regenerates 25% of her health per second while it's going.
Yeah,
so she's basically, unless she gets one hit KO'd, she's not gonna die.
Oh, good thing there's no overtuned mobs that want to KO in this game. Not stabbing you, not stabbing at you.
no, totally.
So, I've died in the startup of that ult
I
many
wanted
times.
to hit on, just because you guys didn't have her there.
Yeah, I'm a bit biased. I like her so much. I almost put her in A, but I know she's not A tier. She is like, if I put someone at the top of B tier, she'd be like at the top. I feel like she's great. Super tanky. I mean, survivability's not an issue. Damage isn't a problem. Damn that booty. I like her. So let's just just ramble off B tier real fast. Yepso. I know you have Cyclops in mind. Who else would you put basically in the same range as Cyclops? Why don't you go first since you haven't gone first yet?
Shit. Man, I don't know.
Well,
like
Cyclops.
Here's how I view like B tier.
Okay.
A lot of B tier people I think have like decent.
Are you there? Can't hear you.
You cut out Yepso.
Shit. Can you guys hear me?
Now we can hear you. Yeah. We heard.
Okay.
Do you think they have decent? What?
No, I was just saying that like B tier characters to me have like decent TTAs but shitty time to live, but
okay.
they're not terrible. But yeah, Cyclops would probably be in that tier. Where it gets tricky for me.
Oh, you would have Thor that low.
Yeah.
Really? His TTK is so much better than Cyclops's though.
No, I'm not saying like Thor to me is like an A-lister. But I don't know. It's where it gets tricky. I feel like there's a huge gap at this point. You either like C and then it just jumps up to like A for me.
Oh sure. I mean this is a hard science. This is like hard to figure out really. We're just
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many characters, so many ways to go about. I mean, all of us already have classified them in so many different ways. It's interesting. The main thing we're trying to do is just spark discussion about the characters and kind of where they are.
Yeah.
Like I think all of us just saying Squirrel Girl, Star-Lord, clearly in the bottom. That just quantifies something. Go ahead, Forumz.
Absolutely. I think if we're when we're going through our tier list for people that we play. We should just list off a couple of the reasons, because I've got
your strong
Doctor
mains?
Strange in B. Well, no, because Subpoena plays Doctor Strange, and I highly doubt Subpoena has Doctor Strange in B.
Yeah.
But I have Doctor Strange in B, so I would just give a couple of the reasons why I have him there. Just the heroes specifically that our group of people that are here play. It's if we're discussing Thor, Blade, at least in these tiers, because we're going over them a little bit more brief.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean. That's why I have you guys here, because I think you have a handful of different mains. Yepso and I share one or two. Yepso and Sub share one or two, but for the most part, we're all
So-
diverse. So let's just ramble off B real fast. So that's Yepso's thoughts on B. Anyone else you think is comparable to Cyclops, Yepso, that comes to mind and about that power level? I think you might be more informative on S tier and A tier, since that's kind of all you play.
That's kind of his
That's his
expertise.
Yeah.
Forte.
I'd probably put Hulk in B tier,
Yeah, I was going to suggest him since you actually play him. Yeah.
and probably Iceman.
Really? Oh, okay. I didn't know his TTK was that solid. I thought he
I've
was...
got Iceman in B as well.
I have him so low just because I have him in C, and I just feel like he hasn't changed since launch at all. Really, it's just
Thor hasn't either, so
Thor's had a few significant changes. Actually, he didn't have his signature. It was some other stupid ability that just reflected projectiles. Do you remember that? He didn't have.
That was a
Yeah.
long time
I've been
ago.
playing this
3 years
motherfucker
ago.
since that time. He didn't have his passives. He didn't have Son of Odin. He didn't have both his dots. He didn't have his range spender. He had 4 or 5 basics. He didn't have almost everything in his left tree. He had some of it. He had 2 different charged lightning hammer abilities. I mean, he's
Old school Thor was so crap.
yeah. I mean, he's absolutely shit. So
He's, I don't know.
he is
let's
boring.
rattle off Bs.
Oh, so all of us haven't even listed our B. So Subpoena, rattle off your B real fast. No explanations, just who's in it, and then everyone else
B.
listen for outliers. You know.
So I've got Ant-Man.
hmm
I've got Gambit there. I've got Loki, Luke Cage. I've got Magic. I've got Mr. Fantastic. I've got Moon Knight, Nightcrawler, Psylocke, Rocket Raccoon, She-Hulk, Thing, and Winter Soldier. Although I may have had She-Hulk in A, so I may have been an accident.
Okay. Forums, real quick.
Uh,
No
I'm-
explanations.
I know. I'm just realizing I don't think I listed Winter Soldier, so that's my bad.
Okay. Well, you aware
He's
of
not on my list.
are you aware of what
Oh,
Knight's
okay.
Rage did with him recently?
Yeah, I would probably put Winter Soldier in B because he's pretty soft, but he's got some awesome leads. Anyway, my B tier is Ant-Man, Cable, Captain America, Doctor Strange, Emma Frost, Human Torch, Iceman, Iron Fist, Mr. Fantastic,
Oh!
Nightcrawler, Nova, Punisher, She-Hulk, Spider-Man, Thing, Vision, and yeah, Vision's the last one.
Oh wow! So, I think I have the biggest S tier and the biggest A tier. Out of you
there's
guys,
probably a lot of hate for my B tier right
Yeah.
now. so-
Yeah,
then-
I'm feeling
yeah.
that. But
and then my B tier is my biggest tier. So I have one of my favorite characters: Captain America, Colossus, Moon Knight, Cyclops, Punisher, Gambit, Miss Marvel, Rocky Raccoon, Nightcrawler, Hawkeye, Hulk, Invisible Woman, Spider-Man, Juggernaut, Kitty, Loki, Winter Soldier, Magneto, and Cage. And I think in a nutshell, I can open up mine. Is I feel like all of them, either their TTK and their TTL, are really close to competitive ones, or one of their TTKs or TTLs is super strong and the other one's not terrible. So that's that big category. Like Captain is really close to a phenomenal TTK, and his TTL's not bad. Hawkeye is like crushing it. He's like at 330, I think, is what Blue Kaiser has him, but his TTL's not wonderful. Hulk crushing shit. TTL not great. We talked about Kitty. Some of the other ones. Cage. I have Cage probably higher than you guys because I love him. Miss Marvel, pretty good TTK, pretty good TTL. Punisher, tanky as shit as far as I understand. Pretty good deeps. What are your guys' just like when you look at your B tier? What are your kind of thoughts on it?
all right, I'm gonna go first because Forumz is our long-winded costume friend.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
You hit up last. All right, so might as well short.
we're
So
we're on track though. We're doing good on time, boys.
So Ant-Man and basically my B tier. I think I said it earlier, but just to make sure everyone we say it again. My B tiers they're close. Most of my B tiers they're pretty close to A tier, but they're lacking something. That was very much similar in Yepso's veins. They either have really strong DPS, they have a really strong TTL to either allow them to either gear full damage and still be tanky and do pretty good damage, or they have really high damage and they can gear tanky, and they do less damage, but it's acceptable. But otherwise, they can't go full DPS and be tanky.
Right.
And some of them have just bad kits. Like
Yeah.
Moon Knight's got an old kit. I've always found Moon Knight incredibly boring. His burst is fun, for instance, but like super boring. Nightcrawler, he's got a cool kit. A lot of people like it. He's got cool teleports. I hate playing him. I don't like playing him. Same with She-Hulk. I don't like the combo points in Luke Cage. I find those generally I hate combo point characters, so that's why I put them there. They're strong, but at the same time, like with Luke Cage you talked about earlier, he's got a lot of bugs. He's hard to connect with his hits. Things like that. Rocket Raccoon, he can be really strong. He's got a good TTK, but that's really you got to kind of bug out his pet. You got to weave. You got to do all these other things, and then you got to redrop his his dots, and then his minigun, pretty strong DPS, but it doesn't pierce. So he's only doing that literally to a single target ever. So things like that. That's why I have people in B tier. Gambit, I'm with Forumz. I love Gambit. It's a really fun character and kit. He's a pretty strong character overall, but he just needs a little bit of work to be better.
Yeah. Gambit, actually, though, I'm really impressed with Kavik. Like, we were doing Cosmic Danger Room as a group there. He's in there on his Gambit just crushing shit. Shout out to that guy.
Kavik's been playing Gambit since the dawn of time, dude.
He plays who he wants to play. He plays his mains. He's like shout out to Candaria Root. Playing Emma since she came out. Playing, who else do you play? He played all the babes,
Nova.
I think. Nova, yep. But Forumz, your B tier? Kind of what B tier is to you? And
So B tier to me is, I consider these characters currently viable. I would suggest anyone purchase any of them if they find them fun or even remotely interesting. That would be Ant-Man. Obviously we all had Ant-Man here. I think he's kind of a lot. Cable might even be A. It's hard to say for me because I don't have a lot of experience with Cable. Captain America, he's just lacking that one thing. Doctor Strange, Doctor Strange deserves to be much higher, but Gazillion's resistance on adding a second action bar really limits the potential of the character due to needing a third-party program to maximize his DPS.
True.
He has fun animations, and he feels like Doctor Strange. Signature, it's the eye, tons of damage. Ultimate, swirly, swirly, giant ball of death. Not really a fan of any of his costumes. His default is comic book accurate, but he's just not, I don't know, none of them make me say, wow, I have to buy that right now.
I really liked all the
I can agree with
thoughtfulness
that.
on all forums. On all his
But
stuff.
that's why I put Strange there. You could argue Strange A, even maybe S.
Yes.
It's just and I'm not taking away from what anyone's accomplished, but Gazillion has limitations that we have to overcome to maximize him, and very few people are going to do that. So that's why he's here.
I mean, I just feel like someone's doing it for free. They're aware of it, and it's still not in the game. Like that. I mean, how hard is it to do? I have friends who code, and I've described what it is to them. Maybe I'm not doing it justice, but they're like, I'm like, it's an INI file that I just, I add, and that's it. And he was just like, that. I mean, it's like, that sounds like the easiest fucking thing to do. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not an
and then the other one that's controversial, Iron Fist.
Yes,
I think
really
he's another character you could easily argue A tier. I stuck him here due to a heavy, precise skill rotation that requires laser focus. You cannot drop his rotation at all, or you're just fucked.
It's not that hard.
Overall, he's fun. Feels like Iron Fist. Brings some unique things to the table, like stances. Signature, I just put kaboom. Ultimate, he is the dragon. He is awesome. Tons of damage. Costumes, all done by the Dink. They're all exceptional.
All really good, yeah.
Wow, I'm really surprised you have Iron Fist that low. He's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, that's one of my him and Strange and Nova.
He might be my next Cosmic. Yeah, he's one of the characters. He's one of the characters I'm most happy is in the game, and that he's executed well. Like, I'm a huge Kung Fu movie buff, and he has references to like almost all the great Kung Fu lines, like Bruce Lee's "Be Like Water" and other ones.
But again, you have to remember my B tier. I do consider all of these characters viable and great options.
Yeah,
it's just. They have a few little weird things here and there, or slight limitations that drop them down just for
all right,
superficial reasons.
I'm really excited for our S and A tier discussion. I think this is the meat and potatoes of the tier list. This is probably most of the characters people want to care about because they're good. I already know that I have a few. So my A is really big, and my S is really big. I mean, obviously. There's no beating around the bush. I mean, I have one person in S who I think she should be in an SS tier, her own tier, but we'll get to that. Yep. So you're the one who's kind of listening. Did that spark anything else you want to say about B tier? Any of those characters? Did you come up with anything?
Nah, I mean, you guys pretty much hit it all on the head. I mean, this.
Cool. All right. So A tier. This is going to be a juicy tier. I have count how many you have again. I have 10, 11 in A tier. And for me, A tier was just these characters are strong. Their TTK and TTL are both solid, and then one of their TTKs or TTLs is exceptional.
Yeah, I have 13, and A tier for me is the top tier.
Okay.
That's how I have it labeled.
So I have 21, I think.
Okay.
And for me, these were all like, you should definitely buy these characters. They're really strong. This is what I didn't mention earlier.
Wow,
actually,
21. Okay.
Yeah, so, and I'm happy to say that. I'm glad. I feel like that's a great, I'm glad a lot of characters are in that tier for me. These are all strong characters. They have strong TTLs, strong TTKs. It means time to live, time to kill. So they kill things quickly, they live well, and they have good AoE. That's the other thing, because a lot of this game is AoE. And so for like the character has really shitty AoE, I don't want to play them, because why? Because there's 27 other characters, in the game that have amazing AoE and do just as good as single target damage.
Yeah.
And probably just as good at burst. So, and that's the other thing. So burst, TTL, TTK, AoE, high single target damage. I think all these characters have it all. And a good ultimate. Yeah, and good signature. That's the things that matter, but that kind of counts with burst.
All right. Yep, so do you know who you would throw into A tier? Actually, let's let you open up A. So we have another tier after this that's going to be S tier. But yep, so let's let you open up on who you think is A tier.
All right, so I'd probably put Cable into A tier.
Mm-hmm.
Strange, Doom, Deadpool. Probably Torch, Iron Fist, Jean Grey, Cage, Nova, Scarlet Witch. She's kind of teetering on A and S.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I too agree with that.
Yeah.
I put Thor in A tier as well.
Right. Well, A and S is such an interesting discussion, especially S is things can get really interesting. Cool. I think I pretty much agree with all of those, other than
That's good. We'll let you add a few, Yepso, if you agree with any of ours, since you're
Yeah.
doing it on the spot.
only thing I have to say on yours is a couple of yours I have an S. But yeah, that's almost my whole list.
Well, I think subjectively our A and S's are a little different in thousands. Like, because A for me, A is top tier. Like, A is
right. And your S has one person in it, right?
3.
For me, I mean, like, we'll just, there's no letting a cat out of the bag here. Everyone knows. I have Rogue above S tier. She is, I feel, completely in her own tier in every way. And so my S tier is pretty generous. Oh, well, my S tier, I feel like they're all exceptional characters. And then A tier for me is strong. So what's your A for?
List off your A. Okay.
Oh,
So
me?
Yo, you can go first. Go first.
All right. So if any of these characters stand out to you, especially the first one, it's because they have essentially like a either godlike survivability, such as Emma, or a 3-minute TTK. So Cable, Doom, Elektra, Emma, Green Goblin, Magic, Mr. Fantastic, Jean, Nova, Silver Surfer, Torch, and Thing. And I'm pretty sure there's some offenders to you guys.
Thing. I don't agree with Thing.
I don't agree with Mr. Fantastic at all.
So he's at 301, I believe. I believe he's at 301 or 303. Luke's in here. I'm sure he'll correct me. His build. No one, it's not. You don't like it. He's not doing spinny punches, but he's absolutely shitting on that dummy. His signature's bonkers. I get that he's not for everyone. I'm actually one of the sick, twisted people, like Mr. Halloween. I actually enjoyed Mr. Fantastic, leveling him. I think, like, speaking Yepso's language, he is a 3-minute TTK, or, basically 3-minute TTK. Like, that's the same as Thor, if not a second better. So, gotta respect that. Thing's a character I want to push. I think his TTK can get lower. I mean, I'm not going to talk too much on mine, but I think Thing's got so much good stuff going on. Who hasn't done their A? Sub and Forumz, or did everyone do their A already?
No, we haven't done
Yeah,
it either
so,
one of us. Go ahead, Forumz.
All right, so my A tier again. A tier for me is what I would consider top tier. These are all pristine characters. They're great at what they do. I'd recommend anyone buy them.
Mhm.
We have Black Panther, Daredevil, Deadpool, Doctor Doom, Elektra, Ghost Rider, Green Goblin, Invisible Woman, Jean Grey, Magic, Scarlet Witch, Silver Surfer, Thor.
Okay.
That is my A tier.
Perfect.
All right.
Any outliers you guys don't agree with in my A tier?
Say that one more time real fast.
All right, so we have. Let me just grab my slider. I've got a lot of text. So I really scroll. Okay, so Black Panther,
Mm-hmm.
Daredevil,
Mm-hmm.
Deadpool, Doctor Doom, Elektra, Ghost Rider, Green Goblin, Invisible Woman, Jean Grey, Magic, Scarlet Witch, Silver Surfer, and Thor.
Really, really solid.
Yeah, I don't have too many problems with any of this.
I'm so curious about our S tiers now. So it seems like.
So
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go for it, bro.
yeah, I gotta say, so I've got, once again, these are characters I think you should definitely buy. They've got good AoE, strong single target, they're tanky, they got strong TTKs, TTLs. They're just fun, and they're fun to play generally for most of these characters as well. So I've got in there, I've got Black Panther, I've got Cable, I've got Captain America, I've got Captain Marvel, which is one of the ones we disagreed on, and that's because I think she's strong TTK and
I
strong TTL.
love Captain Marvel, but
She's a little boring. Deadpool, Doctor Doom, Doctor Strange because he's a baller, Elektra, Emma Frost, Green Goblin, Human Torch, Invisible Woman, Iron Fist, once again because he's a baller, Jean Grey, Kitty Pryde, Nova Punisher, Scarlet Witch, Spider-Man, Thor, and Vision.
All right. So one thing.
I think that's actually good. You have a few A's that I have in B, but I think subjectively you could like I have Emma, Spider-Man, and Vision in B, but you could definitely argue them as A.
Yes,
here.
and so for me, it's really interesting. My S and A tier are in Subpoena's A. Yeah, I think it's more how I look at S tier.
No, I think your A is good though.
Yeah. We have a lot of characters we heard over and over in there between all of us, all four of us. Like Jean, I think all four of us said. Did we all say Torch and Magic? I think. Doom.
Daredevil,
I didn't. Well, I had
Magic,
Magic down in B tier.
Okay, but that's also
but
pretty close.
But I don't. Yeah, but also I could see her being. I don't play Magic.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of experience with her, so I would defer to your judgment on it.
Right, that's one of the characters you're not an expert on, but you have, a bit. One thing, so one note I want us to remember, if you guys can help me, when we get to S tier, one thing that I think Yepso said, or someone said, that it's exactly how I think about the character. It was Scarlet Witch. It's like she's A tier, but she's in that S tier honorable mention. Keep that idea in your head when we actually get to S tier. Out of A tier, is there anyone you guys are in love with? This is the tier where we're getting to some of our mains. Someone you just, you love, that you want to talk about, that you think, just kind of exemplifies what we're saying, like good sig, good ult, everything. Any of these characters in A tier that you guys just, really, really love?
Doctor Doom, for sure.
I feel like he's the epitome of A tier. He's someone I have, like, I wrote Dr. A tier. Like,
Doctor Doom is the A tier mascot.
Well,
for sure.
he's the standard, right? Like, I feel like all
for sure.
He's just like phenomenal flavor. Like, his voice acting just makes me so happy. Badass ult. It's strong, but it looks exceptional. You can play,
and it has music.
Yes, you can actually bug it to just play the music, which is pretty cool. He's got that flavor. He's got his sorcerer tree. He has his technology tree. He has his Latvian army tree. I mean, so much right. And then, I mean, you crushed it with what build, Yepso? Sorcery?
Two different builds.
Right. Him and Frostikiss crushed it on 2 different builds. The Summoner build is like the standard, like face roll, all content, just under 4-minute TTK. Plenty of survivability because you're just going to roll through the, content with your army. I mean, wonderful character.
Other than his tech tree, that would be the only complaint I have with Doctor Doom. His physical tech tree kind of sucks.
Yeah,
I feel like he's got a lot going on in all his trees, and I feel like they could probably cut one ability from each tree and polish them a little bit, and then he'd be even a better character. He's kind of got a lot going on. But J-Ram says, well, Subpoena is going to get a share of my corpse when I quit the game. he has Punisher in A tier. Hey, bro, we didn't get to S tier. No, I was kidding. I already said Punisher in B.
I have Punisher in B because I'll just say that he's listening. I put Punisher solid damage, unique ammo mechanic requiring you to reload, which is awesome.
But bugged.
He has nice layers. He has nice layers and a truly unique playstyle. However, he is crippled by a reload bug that was reported almost 2 years ago and has still not been fixed.
Yep.
It wasn't just reported. There was
Videos.
documenting exactly what it is at every step of the way too. Like a lot of work went into that, and they just didn't fix it.
If that bug didn't exist, I probably would have had Punisher in A tier. But I feel like that's a major flaw, and I know it doesn't trigger a lot, but when it does, it just makes you go full sad face, and that's a problem.
And since you are actually you are Mr. Punisher, JRAM, if you wanted to write just a little paragraph there, I know the stream's a little bit behind, but if you want to write some comments just on Punisher, on what tier you would place him in, and some thoughts on him, I'll read that. I'll get back to that in a minute or so if you want to write that. So is that A tier, boys? Or are we about to get to the?
I want to say a couple on A tier.
Please do.
Like there's a couple of characters that I think kind of are the epitome of it. Like Doom, I think we all agree is one of them. I think Black Panther for like a melee character, he's one of the best. Like when I think of like a character, I would say this is a great character, not too strong, not too weak. Just a super solid character. I like Black Panther. I think of him almost every time.
And he has an Empower. Yeah, Black Panther is.
That's why
at the very top of my.
Black Panther is one of the perfect characters in the game for me, nearly perfect. So he's also an S tier for me, Yepso. He is the standard of excellence for me.
And on a positive note, Panther has a ton of excellent costumes.
Yes, that's part of it too.
Absolutely.
Phenomenal voice acting.
I think
even,
Panther probably has the
older
best overall costume
good,
selection.
Man. Like the vibranium armor, the shredder, even though those came out at launch, those both look awesome. I mean, Panther's he's a great character. I like Panther a lot. He's definitely my next rank 20 ult.
All right. Yeah, he's on my watch for rank 20 ult.
Yeah, and you would think I would say Doctor Strange, but it's some of the I main him. I love Doctor Strange, but he doesn't have burst.
What tier did you put
Strange in? A little bit of outdated kit.
You put him in A?
Straight A tier. He was A.
So
he's
talk
very
about
strong,
Strange,
but he lacks burst.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Strange. I mean, I would say the same things that Forumz said. Really, is that he requires 2 bars to play, which the game is not designed to do so. So you have to go out of your way to do that. That's a big turnoff for a lot of people. A lot of people say, "Hey, I'd like to play Doctor Strange," and then social chat all the time. Oh man, you're gonna have to have 2 bars. He's like playing a piano. He's difficult to play, which is true. So you got to do those things, and it turns a lot of people off. But if you get past that, he's a very, very strong character. You can expect him to complete glass cannon and dominate all content in the game with him.
If I could pause you just for a second, because I think I must be a weirdo. Someone mentioned weaving as negative. To me, I'm like, that's awesome. Something competitive I can do to improve my damage. And then for what you're saying about Strange, to me, I'm like, that's so rewarding. I do 3 bars, I do all this work, and I'm going to crush. Like, I think that's awesome. Like, you get to have tech skill on your character. But I could see how it's a drawback to some people. Go on. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, well, it's fine. Weaving is it's a positive for a lot of people. Negative. The reason why I would list it as negative is because they've repeatedly said they want to get rid of it, and when they nerf things, they're usually really slow to do it, or they don't fix it, adequately compensate you for the nerf. So if they haven't done it yet, so as long as they don't touch it, I'm fine with weaving. Because I know you like Torch, and Torch is a weaver as well.
Oh yeah, but Torch is actually How many of you had him in A tier? I had him in A tier.
I had him in A tier.
Yepso had him in A tier.
Yeah.
Torch is actually, so without weaving, one of his builds is like 330, another one's I think at like 338, but with weaving, his 2 builds are one's at 309, one's at 3 something teen. I think it was Lazareth that did it. Yeah, like Torch was actually my first rank 20 ult. One of my favorite characters, longtime main. He's got everything you're talking about. He's got 3 awesome, huge dots. Ton of bird. Sorry, man. I worked like a long day today. Huge dots, great AoE. I mean, his dots put dots on you. Ton of damage. His ultimate is in a league of its own. How fucking cool that thing is. It's burst damage when you cast it. Damage twice per second for like 8 seconds. Then you rain down fireballs from the fucking sky for 30 seconds. The entire time you get like 100% damage versus burning targets. His signature, same thing. damage twice a second for 10 seconds, burst damage at the start, 20% crit and brute chance, so you can signature into your ult. Like,
You guys sold me on Human Torch in A tier. I'll move in.
yeah, and then
yeah, he's super.
and then
And then
they
he has
did
a
this.
mobility
No,
on his ult too.
no, and yeah, he gets 50% movement on his signature, and they added to Incinerating Blast and Homing Flares 1% damage per 1% attack speed, and Incinerating Blast has 10% damage per dot. So he has 3 dots that he puts on. He has his dot that applies when he does any attack. His signature's a dot, and his ult is a dot. So he's just like, blat, blat, blat. Not to mention,
I gotta
really,
hear this guy.
really good voice acting. Still super squish, but yeah.
But you can put a shield on him, and he's going to do great DPS and just mow through content and never die. So, like, he's one of those characters you could, if you want to do that and be a lazy farmer, he's a great lazy farmer, or he can do top tier DPS.
And
with an amazing
right here.
And I've actually,
going right here.
And I've only just dabbled once in PvP the other day. I streamed it. I went in there with PvE gear on, and his playstyle in PvP is so fun. You troll people from max range with your homing flares, drop your dots, and if anyone jumps on you, you wreck them with your sig and you run away, and it burns them as they chase you. And you have 50% move speed, and yeah, it's real fun. And then he's just got really good voice. His lines, he's got some just really funny lines. He's a fun main to have. He says cool shit, does cool shit, gives no fucks. I think a few of us had Jean in this tier, and I'm surprised. I'd like to hear from you, Forumz, because you mained her. I remember when Uniques came out, and you were like, what were they, gloves or something that dropped a car? Where like, I was farming for Mjolnir, you were farming for those gloves, and I don't remember what Dracotheus was farming for, but we farmed for weeks, farming rested terminal XP, like trying to get those. So talk a little bit about Jean, man.
So Jean has been my main since the day this game came out. When the game first came out, I wasn't very happy with it because I played beta, and so I refused to spend money on it initially because I didn't know if it was going to fail. My very first Taskmaster kill ever dropped Jean Grey. No shit. Like, I literally looted her at level 8, first character ever. So I switched to her, played her ever since. I'd love to put her in S tier, obviously, because I'm biased, but she just doesn't quite belong there. The nice thing about Jean, and I feel like it's kind of a reflection of Doom, is Jean has 3 viable builds. Like, you can play her energy, you can play her mental, or you can play her hybrid. And all 3 builds are at a low 3 TTK. All of them have great survivability, great mobility.
Massive AoE.
Yeah, and she has possibly the best AoE in the game. Her lethargy has a 70% slow on all mobs, so you just become untouchable. And she has a massive AoE signature that is unresistible CC that lifts the enemies up, which I love. I love unresistible CC in this game.
Shout out to Colossus.
So yeah, I've got her here. I think energy is probably my favorite build, but mental is also very fun.
Nice, man.
Great hero. Everyone should play Jean Grey.
We got to hear from thousands of Yepso. You're all's A tier homie characters because I'm.
So I mean, I did Torch. I also have. Well, there's a few characters I wanted to point out. Well, actually, I'll defend Thing, and I don't think there's anyone else in here I want to talk about. I want to talk about Emma and Thing, I guess.
Yeah, I want to talk about Nova one before we move on.
Yeah, Nova's the from you, and I'd like
Yepso.
Yepso. I'd like to hear Yepso talk about. Yepso, what tier do you have Goblin? Do you have him in S? Yepso, are you here? We can't hear you.
Yeah, I have him in S tier.
Okay. So I have him in A, so that's why you're not talking about him. And then I wanted to hear Subpoena talk about Nova, so I'll talk about Thing and Emma real fast. I think Emma's survivability is S tier, and then she's got fucking redonkulous burst. Like if you're 50-50 hybrid, your signature brutals for 20 million, and then her dot. I mean, I didn't realize her stealth now is a buff and a massive dot and an invis for 5 seconds. And then if you're full mental, I hear people brooding for 40 million with her signature. And then even me, I'm full physical on her now. I just have 1 point in the mental dot, so I can go hybrid. And then I have her. I also have the big stealth, and then her signature. And I'm still brutaling for 10 to 15 million on her signature, which is massive, unresistible CC on the whole screen. And then her sustained damage is good. It's not like 3 minute TTK, but it's just like million, 1.5 million, 1.5 million, 1.5 million with like, several million bursts on her little flip, her off the top rope, I call it, her, what is it? Look, everyone watch me. And then her execute hits like a fucking truck. Like, I feel like she's got everything there. Massive signature, solid, hard-hitting things. I feel like she hits super hard for how tanky she is. Like, if you just compare her to Colossus, she's like 10 times tankier, and she hits twice as hard. And I think she crushes everything in this game, even PvP. Like, she's an all-star in all content. And that's why I just, like, she is... like, when I play her, like, I just say she's a monster over and over, like, every 30 minutes. I'm just like, this character's a monster. Like, I haven't really, like, I don't know if anyone's mega pushed her gear since the nerf. But I feel like, I mean, if we got some of the gods at this game, like, Yepso or someone like Theorycrafting on her, like, I feel like her damage could definitely be pushed, and she's
I'm
always
pretty sure she's low 3s still.
Yeah, I mean, she's just insane.
And she is the tankiest character in the game. Emma is literally unkillable.
And then if you ever get close to killing her, she can invis for 5 seconds or immediately refresh her diamond form. Like, come at me, bro. And you can even spec into her confuse if you want. And then the other thing, I guess, kind of a little
Which is also unresistible, by the way. And it 2 unresistible CCs on one character.
And I actually just did some holosim for the first time the other day. You can confuse every boss in there. So if you have 2 people with confuses, I feel like you can infinitely holosim if anyone's trying to get to the level 50 holosim achievement. The last quick thing, I'll do it faster on things since it's more of an opinion. All right, let's talk about leaps, Subpoena, in the game. Like, I know you're the dude. You're all about characters jumping in. I recently Cosmic Prestige thing, and they reworked his leap. His leap is a double-footed stomp, a fucking WWF elbow drop, a leg drop, a belly flop, and like a butt drop. Like, holy shit!
Quality animations for sure.
And then if you have the Fear Itself costume on, he dunks his hammer on you. A few things that I think Thing have going for him that are pretty exceptional is when he has clobbering time, he's CC immune for the duration. I mean, it could be for a very extended period of time.
That is not. He's like the only character I think
exactly,
that does.
And that's unique. And his damage is solid as fuck. His survivability is solid as fuck. And I feel like you can push either one, either way. Like, I think Ramferton sacrificed a bit. He went full DPS and got a pretty, decent, like 3, maybe a little bit above 330 TTK on. I think 340, let's say, somewhere 350 on Thing. But you're still tanky as shit with that TTK. And then you have, like, CC immunity, and a lot of other cool stuff. But the other thing I was going to say is, I feel like, as someone who played him, I've played him since he had a block, before they removed blocks from everything in the game. I actually feel like, when I see him, like, I know people don't like his playstyle, and I know even when I play him, I complain about a little bit of animation lock. I feel like his entire kit has actually progressed a long way, and, like, they've polished what clobbering time is, and I think he just has a lot of potential. Like, now, like, his signature is a massive AoE and a steroid and CC immunity, and then his ultimate is like huge AoE with an empower. It might be a little bit boring for everyone, but I feel like he's got a lot of potential. Maybe at the bottom of A tier, but I think that character has a lot going on.
Before I talk about Noah, Ram posted in the chat.
Yeah, let's read that
about Punisher, and you were gonna talk about him, so I'll let you do that first.
Okay. So Ram, this guy's made Punisher forever. I think if you cut him, he bleeds skulls.
Yeah.
What I love about Punisher is how smooth and nearly perfect his rotations work. Things just fall into place, and after some runs, you can just use powers and reload on instinct. Nice. Sadly, the reload bug is a killer. Alright, so Luke says that, thanks Luke, that Ramferton build is at 350. I think you can push a bit lower, and you're tanky as shit at 350.
It probably wasn't done with credentials.
No, Credentials wasn't out. It's fairly actually outdated at this point. But
Yeah, Credentials is big, especially when you have like an auto brute power. Like
he has an auto crit and auto brute power in the same power.
Yeah.
So I mean, I feel like you can push a bit more. Like someone like, I mean, I don't know, but like Ramferton, he always pushes a lot of characters. Like Yepso does, like Laws, they push a lot of characters. But I feel like when someone commits to a character for months, that you could really push their gear and push them a bit more. Like I feel like Yepso's and I skill levels are still like miles apart. Like he's definitely much better at the rotations and stuff than me, but he's even said like my Thor is better geared just because I've played so much Thor and I have some of that Thor like muscle memory. So that's why I'm like so comparable to his Thor time. Like he's got a 302, the best I've gotten is 305. And I think that's my gear and from playing the character so long. And I think if those two things merged, like someone who played Thing forever, worked with one of these top theory crafters, I think we could see Thing get a bit lower. And I just feel like with Cap, before this cool Cap TTK came out, I was like, the metachlorines told me. I was like, I'm pretty sure I told you. I'm pretty sure Cap's crushing shit.
Yeah, you told me. I was there.
I was like,
I was
Cap,
there. You said that. Yeah.
Cap is crushing shit. And so prestiging Thing, I kept saying, I'm like, Thing is a beast. And maybe I'll put my money where my mouth is and work on him for a bit. But yeah, I'm done with Thing.
You were totally right about Cap for sure. When we were in
Cap
chat.
Well, Cap pulled a 338.
Yeah.
But before that came out, like a week or two before, I was playing Cap. Stream asked me to gear him out. I'm like, I feel like Cap's kind of crushing shit. Like I just threw some, decent gear on him. Didn't really roll anything, and I was just like walking around brooding like here and there. It's like, Cap feels pretty good. Pretty good, guys.
He was just like, I think he's top tier. He's
and
like
people were like, you can't get him below. People were like, you can't get him sub 4, and I was like, I will 100% get him below sub 4. And then a few weeks later,
the Ledi Yuhani guy, whatever, I don't know how to say his name.
Ledui Anhui, he pulled that 338 Cap time.
All right, so I don't want us to be stalled here too long, but I mean that's where A tier, and I would definitely be excited about S tier coming up. But Nova, yeah, I was so disappointed when you put him in B tier.
Me?
Now,
I haven't
Forumz did. Forumz put him in B tier, and you're crazy. And here's why. All right, Nova he's got the Nova Force for one. All right, he's amazing, and his range build I hate it, but it's actually pretty strong. Lawsrith likes to play it, so if you ever want to talk
some
to
people fucking love that build. I love that build.
Yeah, I hate it. I think it's terrible and awkward to play. But his melee build, he's got a melee movement build, and it's awesome. Kendiri Root is who came up with the build. It used to be better before it got nerfed, but man, you lock onto a target with a cosmic combo, and you're just blasting off everywhere, just doing massive damage. And you have these great dots. He has some of the strongest dots in the game. He has a charge up power, and when you charge through him, he's got a knock up and he's got a stun. So you've got tons of CC. You're hard to hit and move around. You have a Sig that makes your damage go up exponentially throughout the 6 second slot, and it ends in an explosion. And you're just zipping around everywhere. He's super fast. You're just jumping on everything, which as Thousand mentioned, I love jumping. So you pop a Sig, you can just jump over and over and over again with Falling Star. And he just does a shit ton of damage. He's a real low 3-minute character. He's been posted with the 310 already. Probably can go sub 3 according to the guy who posted it.
And he's been God at one point, hasn't he? He's been the best damage in the game. I think two different points in the game. He was the best
damage because his blast off used to do double damage if you could hit from the back. So like the back part of his blast off, and if you were good at the rotation like Kendiri Root was, and he was the god of that rotation, you could just do crazy damage with it. But then and then we kept asking for him to, here's the lesson with Gaz, guys. Listen to this. We asked, we're like, can you just make the front blast off do the same damage as the back blast off because it's awkward to play sometimes, getting that damage. And they're like, yeah, we'll do that. So they just nerfed the damage of the back blast off to make it the same as the front. Gave them absolutely nothing in return.
And I think that's actually a great example of what I'm talking about is Rip Candaria Root. But he was a guy, played the characters he liked, didn't fucking care what tier they're in. He played them, and he geared the shit out of them. And Nova's a great example. He literally was pulling the time that everyone in our guild was like, I can't imitate what you're doing. Because he named that character. He knew the animations in and out. He even told us what he was doing. We tried it, and just I think I heard Yepso in TeamSpeak. It might have been Yepso or you. So just motherfucker, I can't. I've tried. I'm sitting here trying.
I eventually got it, but let's have Yepso talk about it. He was a great character. Yepso, as you all know, is one of the best TTKers in the game. The best, I think.
I think the best.
I don't know why you wouldn't think he consistently puts top times on any character he puts up. How was Nova for you when you tried to pull off that rotation?
Yeah, it was it was fucking hard. Like,
Yeah, I think you cut out because
Yeah.
you just said it was hard.
You said it was
cut out.
fucking hard.
Is your mic down?
yeah, it was fucking hard.
Okay.
All right, that's okay. Man of
That's
few words.
not a few words. So I want to do a little segue here. Luke Fonfebre's in chat. We did it with 3 people in the podcast. We're trying out 4 right now. We didn't want to have 10 people in the podcast, but I asked Luke to post about Invisible Woman, because Luke just recently did a 301 on her, which is crushing it. And I said, tell us what you think about her. Yeah, if you guys were unaware.
All of her utility, a 301 with all that unaware damage
And-
as well.
yeah,
and
Damn.
So he said, Iron Woman has multiple builds that are fun to play. Her lines suck, but she's one of the most visually appealing characters in the game. All 3 of her builds are 330 and under. Lowest is 301 so far, with 950 unaware damage. So technically that's way more damage. If anyone doesn't understand, unaware damage isn't factored in on the TTK dummy, but it is factored in content. So he says he's guessing a 240, 245 TTK is feasible, which is absolutely god tier. And then Luke also adds, all of her builds have a different playstyle. Oh, that's real cool. And she has a ton of utility. Unbreakable aura on her ult, which is a 40% damage negation. Well, that's cool. That's like the defensive side of an empower. And
There's
like
only 2 people
yeah.
unbreakable left.
And she has a shield that makes heroes regen 5% of your HP for a second. Does it also give protected like Scarlet Witch's does? A ton of power duration, and she's literally all area. Nice. All right.
Yeah. Now I think based on that, I think that there's a very strong potential for her to be S tier. I've got her in A tier. She might be an S tier character, but I know that she's benefiting from a couple of buggy mechanics that may not be intended. So if those are fixed, she's probably A tier. But as of right now, she might be S tier.
And I feel like I've just heard Luke say often in chat, like, fuck, she's squishy. I feel like that keeps her out of S tier, because S tier, you're a god, essentially, for me.
Yeah,
but I mean, I don't know.
I mean, she's
I don't know.
amazing.
I don't play her.
I get her recently. She's a lot of fun. I've always liked Invisible Woman's play style.
All right, boys. This is the fun part. This is this is gonna be really fun. S tier.
I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. So
the mecca of the
I know. I'm gonna summarize something cool Forumz said. Forumz basically said. At first, I thought he said he only had Rogue in S tier, and he defined S tier as over budget for power level, like over the intended power level. Is that correct, Forumz?
Heroes who I believe exceed the intended power curve.
And I think that, well, shit. My characters in S tier are a mixture of, well, I'll just be honest. I have Rogue, and she's out of S tier. She is in her own tier, like SS tier. And then everyone else, I feel, is near perfect, like exceptional TTK, exceptional time to live, or they're just broken as shit. Like, they're just strong as fuck. Smork.
All right.
So mine has 13, so I'll go last. Why don't we have...
I think we should have Yepso go first on this one.
Well, actually...
Since he's like
I feel like it's more beneficial if he goes a little bit later, since he doesn't have the...
He's kind of an authority, and I think Forumz hasn't gone first yet. So Forumz...
Okay. So my S tier is also small. It's only 3 characters.
All right. Okay.
Compared to most. Okay. So my S tier, like I said, it's heroes who I believe exceed the intended power curve and could literally be nerfed at any moment without them giving us notice. Rogue. And since this is S tier, I'm gonna talk about my description. Okay, so Rogue.
Set us up.
Zillion said, "Fuck everything with this hero. Every hero's kit is built and designed around an intended amount of layered damage. Rogue has as many layers as she wants. Rogue is cancer. Fix Rogue now. Signature. Great signature ability. AoE. Extremely high damage. Ultimate. Solid ultimate. Gives her extreme DPS. Very flavorful, thematically correct, looks nice. Then I have Blade. Some clunky animations in his kit, but currently has the most overtuned signature and primary spender abilities in the game. Possibly one of the best ultimates in the game. It is hard not to put him in S tier. Signatures, 2 options, both are solid. Ultimate, amazing. Costumes, they're all fucking disgusting and terrible. And then, last but not least, Black Caps. On top of having a low 3-minute TTK, Black Cat has 9 lives, which do not count towards the death counter. What? Signatures, 2 options. Really, though, she only has 1 option. It is her melee signature. Ultimate, massive roid, tremendous damage, unkillable during. This character just doesn't make sense. Costumes, only 2 options. Both look excellent. There's my S tier, boys.
So it was Rogue, Black Cat,
And Blade.
And Blade.
All right, that's interesting. I'm not gonna go over mine, but I'm just gonna. I have in my tier list or my S tier, I have either a P next to the character if I feel nearly perfect, and then a couple offenders I have X's next to them, for I feel like they're doing something that's just no one else can do and it's broken. And Black Cat was one of them with her 9 lives. And Blade with his signature is just, the damage is definitely just unreal. Especially with what Yepso and you were telling me what you're getting with yours, and this tournament has shown us. So
100 million damage
on a
your
sig,
signature?
yeah. So Sub, let's segue into Sub, our baby Blade, our resident baby Blade.
Yep.
What's your S
super-
tier?
So I have, I think, like 5 in my S tier, and I kind of did the same as you guys. Probably these characters are over the intended power cap in one way or the other. Either their total kit is just extremely strong, or they have certain aspects of them that make them crazy strong. So no surprise, Black Cat. They're in alphabetical order. So for me, Black Cat, the 9 lives mechanic. I mean, she's doing at sub 3 probably TTK, or at its dots. She's got stealth. And she's got the 9 lives mechanic where she just does not die. No one else has that in the game. And like literally in a game with raids and death counters, survival bonuses, and in danger room.
Well, also,
she doesn't make any sense in this game, dude.
and also she has what everyone has. She has a 2-second invuln on a med kit every 9 seconds or whatever, plus her stealth to help her not even waste one of her 9 lives. So for her. And she has her ultimate, which is essentially invulnerability because you get all your 9 lives every second.
And you regenerate 5 lives per second.
Once you buy this character, if you ever die on her ever, it's almost unfeasible to ever die on her. That many times where you could just invis and just walk around forever invis or invuln. She's absolutely... Her mechanic is... It's almost a black stain on this list of characters. Because without it, this mechanic, she's completely unexceptional, I feel. Other than
she's A tier. She's like sub 3, like
no, she was 319 with cheesing slot 3.
Oh really?
Yeah, so Ranferton got 319 with the Cow King before it was nerfed.
So that's before credentials and shit, though. You could probably get lower than that.
Maybe. Although she does have one cool mechanic, I believe. I believe she's the only character who, if she steroids and snapshots her dots, if she refreshes her dots before they drop, they continue to be snapshotted forever. And I believe that's unique to her.
That's OP.
Yeah, so
that is OP.
She can go to the monolith, get the monolith buff, and keep her full damage on her dots forever. So we've actually now have a way to do monolith faster than intended for once. So
yeah, her negative is that I don't really enjoy playing her. And I think
yeah.
I want to love her character, but it's painful.
Yeah, but that's her big negative. All right, so my next one is Blade, which you guys had on there as well. His signature, I mean, he's a fun character. He doesn't have the 8% melee mitigation, so he does have some drawbacks. So he's constantly hurting himself from the serum, but you can get around that, if you play well and you gear correctly. And he just does massive retard damage. He really does. And there's just no way around it. I mean, that sig does crazy damage. It'll probably get nerfed at some point, but it's really fun. And I hope they don't, because it's fun to have S tier characters. He's really fun. But
one interjection real fast, guys. So Luke says, Luke linked, she's actually at 310 TTK, no cheese, so that's cool. But Subpoena really, because we haven't actually all listed off our S tier. Could you just list off your S tier real fast?
Yeah, Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
Then I've got Ghost Rider. I've got Rogue and Silver Surfer.
Okay. All right. So you'll be able to talk about all those in detail. Who's your S tier, Yepso?
My S tier is definitely Panther Blade. Strider, Green Goblin. Who else?
Rogue, you can say Rogue.
Daredevil. Well, Rogue doesn't belong on a list.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
Alright.
I'm right there with
Alright.
you. She's in her own. She's not in the game.
Maybe Scarlet Witch.
All right, so
Okay.
the one thing I noticed about your list that's unique is Green Goblin. None of us have him in S, and I know, despite what PvP are saying that you picked him up just to crush them in PvP. Want to talk about him a bit because I feel like he's completely off the radar as an S tier. Although I recently picked him up and he's a fucking blast.
Yeah, I think he is. It's
No pun intended.
It's kind of how I thought he was. Just picked him up and I was like, you know what? And
Luke has him at S2 for sure.
fucking strong, man. Like he's really extremely fun. He's got a very rewarding kit. His ult's badass. Like it does so much damage. His sig is really rewarding. It does a massive AoE. He's just like an AoE god.
And
he's got really hard hitting like laser abilities that look cool as shit. He has burst potential. He has a badass ult. He has a fucking stick that he goes into Voln in. It's really fun, man. He's got 2 builds too that are very competitive times.
And something you touched on that in my mind it's solidified, but I didn't put it. I feel like he has a very unique S tier mechanic in he casts everything while moving, other than a couple, but like 1 or 2 abilities he stops in place. But you're entirely mobile with no animation lock, casting most of your abilities, which is, I mean, if you play any MOBA or anything like WoW or anything like that's really broken. And it feels so awesome running around with him.
Yeah, that's always strong in PvP.
Yeah.
Always. If you can move and cast, you're golden.
But I mean, like, I was farming like a curse terminal with him, and wasn't until I killed curse like 3 times I realized I had not stopped moving, like doing those 3 runs. And yeah, one cool thing too, I know from talking to Yepso, his TTK build, like his top, I think you have the top goblin time. He's at like what 32k, 32,000 HP. Yepso. And
Yeah, he has a very interesting like spirit mechanic kit. Like he's not tied to like 25%. Never really go
Nice.
It's awesome. So you can utilize different like. But
Oh,
yeah,
you don't need to use this. You don't need to use a health core.
no, you don't.
Yeah, he has 0 spirit issues.
Interesting.
So yeah, I think my build I'm rocking like 32,000 health and full.
It's because he doesn't really have like a super fast like 3 times a second spender, I feel, right?
Yeah, it's kind of weird how his passive reads, but like you'll drop to like 100, like maybe like 25% spirit, but you won't go below that, and you'll regen like very like super.
Cool. I guess I'll list off my S tier, and so my S tier is all of these characters are acceptable to play as a main and own no other characters. So the black spot, the black plague on this list is Blade. His signature, I think you guys actually didn't really go over that, but his signature is just doing redonkulous amounts of damage. What's the upward, just real quick, what's the upward, like the maximum amount
Over
of damage?
100. Over 100 million.
On a what cooldown?
40 seconds.
So he's doing 100 million damage on a 40-second
Well,
cooldown.
no, he has the potential to do 100 million.
Okay.
Potential.
What would the low end be? Like a realistic average?
Dude, it's so hard to tell.
I mean,
Like,
just,
can't-
ballpark. I mean, not saying this is the law, but just, ballpark.
Okay, well here I'll put it in context. He hits 4 times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. They all have the potential of brooding for over 25.
And what would it be if it didn't brutal? And what would it be if it crit?
Crits are like 10 million.
Okay. So if you
Yeah,
had
I
no
mean,
brutals
sometimes
and the
you-
whole thing crit, that's 40 million. Pretty redonkulous.
Yeah, like sometimes you do it though, and it sucks. There's just no damage coming
Well,
out. And
even
other
if
times
you don't
did 100
crit,
million damage.
Even if you don't crit, I'm guessing you do 5 million times 4, so that's 20 million. With non-critting, that's like what most characters hope to do when they brute with their sig. So I mean, that's pretty redonk. But anyways, so I have Blade. I have Blade there as
Is that a
that.
hero?
Black Cat because her mechanic, but then everyone else. So I have Doctor Strange, Deadpool, Black Panther, Vision, Daredevil, Scarlet Witch, Iron Fist, Thor, and Ghost Rider, all as really exceptional characters. Scarlet Witch and Thor have two different builds. Granted, one of Thor's is much stronger. One of Scarlet Witch's has a little bit more damage. Vision is doing a 301, and he's tanky as shit. And I feel like he has a lot of unique mechanics. Iron Fist, I feel like, has a really unique playstyle. Tons of invuln, tons of damage. Doctor Strange basically got everything. Deadpool has... He's not leading the leaderboards at anything, right? But he's got really great DPS, range, and melee, crazy mobility, phenomenal voice acting, and then infinite spirit. Then like free res, that like just god mode where you're invulnerable. Panther, maybe the perfect character. Daredevil has insane damage and plenty of survivability, even if you feel the need to spec into it. And then out of this whole list, I feel like Ghost Rider is significantly ahead of everyone on the list, as he's mega tanky, insane deeps, and then like Rogue is just not even, she's in her own tier. And I think it's interesting because a lot of those, some of those characters you guys had an A or B, like Iron Fist, Scarlet Witch, but a couple of them you did mention as honorable mentions, like Scarlet Witch.
Sub, why did you have Silver Surfer in S?
So, yeah, I think a lot of people are not putting him in there. I think he's a sleeper character. I think since he got nerfed, the whole Silver Surfer community, the people that really play him...
Went dark underground.
They went dark. They went into hiding. They're hiding out. He has crazy mobility. He's really fast. He has screen clear AoE and top tier single target damage along with Scarlet Witch type regen, like level regen. He's definitely an S tier character. He's just hiding out. I think if you go and play him and really look at how he does, he's dominant. He's a very strong character.
One thing to add that you didn't mention, his ultimate gives him 20 seconds of invulnerability.
Yeah,
wow.
I mean, he just has everything, and plus on top, he's got great visuals. He represents the character well. I feel like for the most part, just really high damage. I mean,
he's one of the few characters.
He's an insane character.
And like mobility wise, he's one of the few characters with an insane dash and an awesome teleport. He's got both.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's also the only person to use Power Cosmic, which is cool.
He still uses Power Cosmic?
Well, his resource.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, he's got the big resource, and just the main thing is like the screen clear AoE with just super high single target damage as well. Like that, he can pump the damage.
So Yepso,
what did you have?
Yeah, good showings the CDR tournament.
Which I
he
feel
can
like
do it all.
CDR tournament, I feel like really showed who top tiers are. List off your four real fast, Subpoena. Who were your four in S tier?
Yeah, I had five: Black Cat, Blade, Daredevil, Ghost Rider, Rogue, and Silver Surfer.
Okay.
And Daredevil we haven't talked about. He's just been super simple to play, and he has auto brutes. Like, get out of here! Like, I mean, watch a TTK video of him, and he just brutes like no other character.
So his rotation is now so simplified. You use your basic that builds combo points. You max out combo points. You use your whatever max combo point spender you want to use, and then you use spin kick, whatever it's called. You literally use those three things because he builds points so fast. They both hit so hard that even doing your signature is a DPS loss because his rotation is so fine-tuned and so strong. He's down, and your dot, right, and your dot every 8 seconds. He's at 230, I hear rumors of, in full DPS gear, and then
I'd put even lower than that.
Jordan Universe,
probably.
You can actually see that he loves the character in his guide. Very easy. 2 minor adjustments, like you switch to a goat instead of shades, and I don't even know if he actually switches to a shield, but I think he switches to a shield, and he actually has no problem with Cosmic Danger Room, and you spec into Born Again. So, I mean, he's actually a very balanced character in being able to just blow shit up or even actually tackle, challenging content.
The only downside to him is his AoE is Sweaty Ball Sack.
Yeah, his AoE does suck. So actually, he does have one weakness.
Yeah, I mean, he has a signature, and that's it.
And Rebounding Glove kind of crushes pretty hard. And you can actually spam. I mean, if it's just trash, you can spam Whirling Club. But
that's true.
He is, exceptionally strong. No arguments there. Let's see. Scarlet Witch, I feel like, I spam her bug all the time now that I was made aware of it. feel like that's incredible. You spam her bugged ult, it vacuums everything in, and then bursts for 20 mil. You can do that every 3 seconds. Pretty awesome. Yepso, we didn't hear from you actually. Or did we? You said you're S tier. I think, yeah, no, he did. That's right.
I did. Yeah.
So
You could talk about Ghost Rider. We have.
Yeah.
talked
So
about it.
actually,
You can
there's
say
a
why
question.
He's the most experienced Ghost Rider.
You are
here,
the Ghost
so.
Rider. So there's a question, Yepso. I said Ghost Rider's tanky as shit and also has crazy DPS. Would you classify Ghost Rider as tanky, and why?
I'd say yeah. For a range character, he's probably more like pretty tanky because the way his uniques are set up. So with the Spirit of Vengeance build or the contract, every time you use it, you get like I want to say 1,000 defense rating. So that's like 10% added to him right there.
Mhm.
Just his range in general too, like back and just fire fucking bombs at things. He's got a lot of CC built into it. For instance, his CC break is actually like an AoE fear. His signature on a 20-second cooldown, also AoE fear. He's got health from above, which I usually 1 point. Which is a jump ability that knocks things up. That's another C. He's got a lot of CC. He's got a lot of things that make him me.
You're cutting out just a little bit.
Fuck.
But we got most of it, just a little bit. So maybe
All right.
talk louder or closer to the mic. I don't know.
No, I'm like super close to my mic, so it's got to be something on my
Maybe
end.
back up just a little bit then. I don't know. Are you push to talk?
No, I'm not push to talk.
Oh, okay, well, keep going. You're all right. It's not too bad, just barely. Continue.
He also. So the question was tankiness, right?
Yeah, like
also
someone said, how is
his
he
uniques,
tanky?
He's got a 5% chance to proc invulnerability. A lot of people don't seem to pay attention to it because it lasts about 5 seconds and it scales with power duration.
Oh, nice.
If you pay attention to that proc, you can kind of time medkits too, and you can very long time. Like if you watch my video on him, you can see like every time the bow procs, like you can survive. Like
Are you talking
crazy.
about your CDR video?
Oh, CDR and just my Sentinel video. Like
okay, his TT-66 video is what he's talking about.
There's also you can run shield on him if you absolutely want to, and you want to be kind of like a lazy farmer. It still pulls ridiculous.
Still pulling a top
no
TTK.
Yeah, like no one in the game could do that with a shield other than Ghost Rider.
Yep.
He's very strong, but he's got a single target sig, so that's kind of the downside to it. But Damnation makes up for a lot of the AoE. He's just a really fun character. I challenge people, to try him out and see what they think.
I mean, my selling point on Ghost Rider is his leap ability is he like front flips and slam dunks a demonic flaming motorcycle onto his enemies. Sold. And then his Spirit Spender, his single target Spirit Spender Damnation hits 99% of the screen. So it's just like, oh, this is his single target like spell. Like I'm just gonna kill everything, I guess.
Mind you, too, like I'll be like his rotation could be a little intricate at times because it's very tight with my gear setup. So if you guys are pushing TTKs, you're not seeing what I'm pulling. Message me and I can kind of go more in depth about it.
Oh, that's nice of you. Cool, man.
But yeah, you're basically snapshotting his contract and just handling Damnation and doing shit tons of AoE DPS. And it looks fucking really cool. So
All right.
Yeah, Ghost Rider's awesome. Fun character.
So a few things I'm looking at, noticing our lists. In the absolute bottom, Star-Lord and Squirrel Girl are absolutely every kind of, yep. They're definitely the worst. They're down there, and that's kind of about the tier for that. We seem to agree a lot on B tier about everyone who's kind of middle of the road. Like they're all right. There's a lot of characters, it seems, are actually, for I think almost all of us, the majority of the cast is in an acceptable spot. Granted, we want to see more. I'm glad they scaled back releasing a character every, what was it, like month? That was just too much. Constantly releasing them unfinished. And then I think it's really cool that we have so many characters, and if we combined our A and S tier. At the absolutely top of the list, I think we should probably just dabble on Rogue a little bit. I mean, we talked about how crazy she is, but I don't know if we really touched on how crazy she is. Even she can go a summoner build, and she's the best summoner in the game. Like, she's the best range DPS in the game. She's the best melee DPS in the game.
Well, the thing about Rogue that makes her the best is not only do you get to optimize her gear, you get to optimize her abilities. So you don't have to take garbage. Like, where a lot of characters, it's like, well, I don't have any other abilities to put these 20 points into, so I guess I'll dump them in this. Where it's like Rogue, it's like, I got 20 more points, I'm gonna go hunt for literally the best fucking ability known to man. Like, yeah. So Rogue is just her. Not only is she like top tier in gear because she gets tri-spec hybrid itemization. What? Yeah. But on top of that, she gets the ability to cut any ability in her kit that isn't up to par and go find another one. What?
She's always going to be top tier or the best character in the game. I mean, there's really no way around, unless she has a penalty, that's implemented on her for some reason. That'll just piss everyone off. Like you get a power, but it's going to be 15% less of whatever the main character's power is. I mean, there's just no way to control her really other than that. I mean, there may be, but I doubt it. I doubt it's ever going to happen.
I feel like one way to do it is only allowing her to benefit from 2 of hybrid itemization items. Like, for instance, if you use physical power and energy, and you tried using a mental, then you'd only get the energy and physical portion of it. Or
I think it's even simpler than that. My if I were on the team, it would be, so she's allowed a certain amount of enemy foe passives, ally foe passives in each category.
Well, that's how she was. They said fuck it.
Right. I would limit those a lot more, and so you don't even have to nerf all the abilities like they nerfed her dots and whatnot. Literally, just limit her more, and I feel like she's always going to be strong. But maybe just restrict her a bit. I mean, what if they cut it down that she can only have the 1 of each ability? I'm sure she would still be top tier. But
people would
definitely
find other abilities, man.
Yeah, definitely she needs to be nerfed. I feel like this is one of the few times you'd hear this many good players agree to that. That absolutely, if she gets nerfed, none of us will be surprised. Completely reasonable. Because she's just...
I mean, I'm all for baby steps, though, with nerfs.
Absolutely.
Like, it's like the first nerf they did, it shaved like 20 seconds off her time, and now people are already back under the time that was nerfed.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting to see how they'll handle that. I could see them just cutting dot damage on her again by another 25% just off the top.
Yeah, and I think they should do it like that in baby steps. Like, keep revisiting it. If they over-nerf her, bring it back a bit. But, yeah. Damn, dudes, we covered everything, guys.
Our tier lists. Do you want the link? So, for all of our tier lists?
You have yours on a link? I don't think anyone else does.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I made mine in a Google Doc.
Yeah, I don't know. If people want, yeah, I'm sure you can post yours. But I think the idea I wanted was more or less to have a discussion about them, so people could hear some things they maybe have never heard about the characters. Like, for example, like just the most recent thing, like, what? Ghost Rider's tanky? Because for me, Ghost Rider is his build is so similar to Thor's, it's just better in basically every way. Let's see. Is there anyone? I don't know. Did everyone feel like they got to talk about all the characters they liked? Like, anyone feel like we didn't really touch on any characters enough? I feel like the characters we didn't touch on that much. It's just kind of like, they are where they are.
Well, I feel like there's a lot of characters that are there that are just good, and they're just, if you want to play them, but they're not going to change your life type deal, which is fine. Every game's going to have its middle of the pack.
Yeah.
I think we're just more concerned about the outliers generally, which are going to be your low of the low and your high of the high.
I really just want Colossus not to suck. I just hope they jump on that sometime, in the next
Yeah, man, I actually geared him out yesterday, the day before. It's so
It
strange.
seems like he's on the top of their list, though.
It's so
Yeah, he
strange that his spender brutals for 2 million plus, and his time is so bad. That I mean, because I'm on Thor and I'm like, man, with an N power up, my spender hits for 1.8, 1.7, 1.9 million, and I'm attacking almost 3 times a second. But then yours is burning for 2 million all the time, but you hit like 1.7 times a second.
Yeah, it's just slow. Everything about him's slow, and then
And a lot of his
it just seems to
animations
be
are
fixed.
weird. Like he's standing in, like his punches, it's like he's almost standing in his target, punching through them. And then
Yeah.
if it's a moving target, he kind of gets out of whack. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just a big Colossus fan, and I wish they would buff him, like, in a reasonable amount of time, which that's already passed, like, about 2 years ago, so.
How about you, Yepso?
Oh, well.
Anyone dear to your heart that we didn't talk on much, or anyone you'd like to see buffed?
Oh yeah. Oh, of course. Magneto. Need a lot of me for Magneto.
Oh, man. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
especially like what Forumz was saying, like iconic characters. You're telling me that Mag fucking Nito isn't one of the best badasses in this game? Kills Apocalypse, like, later, bro.
I mean, he's basically the focal point of the X-Men cinematic universe. I mean,
Yeah,
some would
dude.
argue Mystique, but I wouldn't even go that far. I think Magneto is literally like the center point. He's like the anchor of it all, and I'm fully on board with that. I think Magneto should be glorious. Like playing Magneto, you should just like be having orgasms while you're playing Magneto. It's so
Oh,
good.
for sure.
And
Has
it's
the
not-
best character model in the game still, and he came out like a year and a half ago. Awesome.
Yeah, he looks fantastic. He's got cool abilities, but his cool abilities suck.
Yeah, I think Magneto is up there on my personal list, very high. That they should revisit him because he's just an iconic. He's a beast, man. He is the villain of the X-Men, like,
Yes.
and also their savior at times. The guy's just he is a core of that universe. You could argue even more than Cyclops. Jean Grey, like all of these huge characters, like Magneto stands above them, in recognition, and they need to recognize that. So, based on that, I think Hulk really needs to be looked at. Iron Man, Wolverine.
Spider-Man.
I think that they should, they need to buff Wolverine and X-23's basics, but I think above and beyond that, I was thinking a lot about it the other day. They need to come up with a creative way to make Fury operate, because right now it's not working.
Yeah, it's completely
The warrior rage mechanic just isn't working. They need to revisit Fury. Maybe have like a base regeneration rate, and you gain more by attacking with basics. But I don't know. They need to do something with the Fury mechanic for both of those characters.
All right, boys. I want to take stream questions from Twitch, and I want to do those giveaways. But before that, I'm gonna end the YouTube video. So let's do a bro Pina across the stream to just pop your ults and point them towards the camera. We'll end this podcast for the YouTube video.